All right, all right, all right. I think we're live. I think we're good. Right. It took me a minute. Again, welcome everybody. I know that some of you guys haven't seen me in 5 months plus, thereabout, right? It's been a while. And the reason why I'm on, of course, is because this is important, right? So let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if I'm lagging still. I had to like use a totally different program to do this live. And then I try to troubleshoot whatever else after the fact. Um, so let me just make sure everything is good. Just I'm waiting for comments. Just let me know if I'm on. All is well. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. All right. Am I good? I think I'm good. I'm just waiting for y'all to give me the go ahead so I can actually jump right into this. Let me know if the audio is good. It's good. Okay, not too low. Not if it's too low, maybe I can try to turn it up. All right, cool. All right. So the reason why I'm doing this live stream, right, is that I was getting a lot of notification on my, from my YouTube channel, this channel, right? And I was like, okay, I'm not sure what's happening. So I saw different comments. Some of it was a little bit, I was a bit clueless because I wasn't sure what they were making reference to, because they weren't really. Some people actually explained what the issue was. Others never really did. So I kind of just saw like notifications come in. I'm like, well, what's this? Okay, I just felt like people are just being crazy once again. Of course, running a channel like BJ, you get a lot of racist people and all different sort of people that come on and comment, right? So I'm kind of used to that. So I was seeing it. I was like, okay, well, I don't know what's happening. So comments kept coming and coming and coming until finally I decided, maybe after, I don't know, 2 weeks or something like that, I decided to just look into this thing and see what's up. So I started to look into it. So this will happen, right? So let me try to share this. I think I can share the screen, right? All right, there we go. All right, so this is the interview I did initially, that has to do with the book, right? So the book that I have here, right? So I actually read the whole thing. If you guys can see it in this corner here, well, let's just switch that. Okay, so this book, right? The African Samurai, right? If I could just get this thing to focus. Can I get it to focus? Oh, there we go. So again, The African Samurai. That's the name of the book by Thomas Lockley and Jeffrey Gerard, right? So as you can see, I got all these things because when I was interviewing Thomas 5 years ago, back in 2019, right? So this is what it is, right? I want to talk about a few different things. So anyway, so that video was the video that it was actually mentioned in someone's video, a Japanese guy's video, right? So that's, I guess that's how people found my video, because this video here, let's see, this video here, my video was actually wait, mentioned. Let's see, where is it? Somewhere here. I'm not even sure where it was. Oh yeah, here it is. So this is the reason why I guess people are coming over to the channel and they're writing all sort of stuff. Here. So this is there's a quote that he wanted. And so of course I conducted this interview back in 2019, right? 5 years ago. So because of this interview, I guess people searched the channel and found my channel, and then they're writing all these things in the comment section, right? All right, so that's kind of like how I guess they found my channel and how I'm kind of like connected to this whole thing. So anyways, so pretty much to give you guys a synopsis of what's happening. So there's a gaming company called Ubisoft, however you pronounce that. I'm not a really big gamer. I have a game called Assassin's Creed. I've played that before back in high school, way back when. And they have a game called Assassin's Creed Shadow. So there are two main characters in this game, and the main characters are Yasuke and a Japanese character. I believe the name is Noah, something like no something. Anyways, so it's a female protagonist and a male antagonist, protagonist as well. Sorry, and the male is Yasuke, and the female is a Japanese warrior. All right, cool. So you think that's fine, it's like, look, the game looked really cool, because when I started to get the comments and I decided to just look at the comments and see what they're talking about and started researching it, then I found the reason and I see what people are talking about and what I want to share. I watched some videos about people's reactions and stuff like that, and I want to talk about that. So there's a lot of comments on this video, right? So if we go here, in Japanese and English, right? You got different comments. Like some of them are, this one just trolling. Some people are trolling, so it's like you can't even. I'm like, okay, that's why I ignored it for the longest while, because I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Like, these people are saying all sorts of things. So look at this comment right here. Hopefully, wait, can you guys see this? Probably too, is it too small? I hope you guys can see it. Hopefully, forgive me. Wait, can I make it? And I doubt I can make it in larger. Forgive me. So this here, maybe. Wait, can you guys read it? Wait, maybe I can do this. So this one comment here says, like this. Look at it. This is the title of the channel, and they say "N lover," right? And they say all sorts of things. We don't know if Yasuke was a samurai, and some people say different things, right? They talk about all sort of things you're talking about. I don't want to get into it. You can check the video and look at all the comments, right? So some of the things are very racist, some of the things are thoughtful, some of the things are just accusatory, some of the things are just crazy, over the top. You just name it, right? So we're seeing all these different comments coming in, and then the most recent video that I have on YouTube was posted 5 months ago, from my part of my New York trip, and someone commented, like, one of the most recent comments on it was about just crazy stuff, like, thank you for the video about Tutari Tom. I watched the other videos, which countries you lift up and which countries you criticize, highlight which forces or countries are behind you. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. And then this one says, love your video about interviewing Lockley about Yasuke. Sounds like you have believed what he said and even denied the comments refuting his claim. Your attitude is exactly why hatred is caused, right? So these are some of the comments. So they found the most recent videos, commented on that, but most of the comments are found under the initial interview I did with Thomas Lockley back in 2019. All right, so this is a trailer, right? So I went online and I tried to find the trailer, and I saw this, and I don't think I can play it. But if you look at, it's really well made. Of course, I saw it. I was like, wow, this is really good. And I was thinking to myself, like, man, because before Chadwick Boseman died, he was tapped, right, to play the role of Yasuke in the Black Samurai movie, right? So I was looking at just like the way this trailer was well made, and I was thinking, man, like, if they made something like this, of this caliber, like into a movie or something, I'm like, man, that would be insane, right? Really great, right? I would watch it. So anyway, so we're looking at Yasuke here. So you're seeing it, right? So this Assassin's Creed Shadow game is based in feudal Japan, and one of the main protagonists is a black African man, right? Yasuke. And you guys know, like, Yasuke is a legend. We know about Yasuke. We hear all the stories, right? So it's not a name that you're unfamiliar with, right? So we're seeing this, right? So Yasuke is here, and different scenes. I don't think I can really play, but you can go and watch this just go online and just type Assassin's Creed Shadows Feudal Japan sneak peek. You can see that, and then they have like a 3-minute version, which is actually really, really well made, really well done, right? Again, it's just a trailer for the game, right? So it's not the game, but the trailer for it, right? And then let's see. I'm just trying to show you. There's a scene here. Maybe I can play this quick scene. I don't know. Let's see. So this is Nobunaga, right? And that man there is Yasuke, right? So can I just play this part? Maybe. All right, this little scene here. So there we go, right? So again, and then you can see fight scenes. I'm sure you guys a fight scene, like Yasuke is sitting right there, and then here he comes, right? It looks sick. Okay, I gotta say, like, it is sick, right? Like, so you're watching this, right? The trailer, right? You can see Yasuke, of course, and all these things, and really good stuff. Like, in terms of just like the production and seeing this, right? Oh wait, y'all can't see it. Wait, so the whole time, okay, why can't? Okay, this is insane. The whole time, all right, I don't even know what to say to y'all. She said you can't see it. Oh, I see why y'all can't see it. Wow. Okay. Anyways, hold up. This is okay. This is not really going as how I intended it to go. Okay. Let's see. How do we? So I don't use this program too much. When I use, for some reason, it's not working. So like now I'm kind of wait. Okay. Well, I guess that's not it. I don't even know how to. Okay, let's see. I guess I could. Oh wow, I can share the entire tab. So it looks like I only can share it tab by tab. Okay, that's not good. How do I even? All right. So, anyways, okay, maybe I can just show you guys. Okay, let's see this one. All right. It's gonna be a little bit slower than I thought. It's not really working with me today. Forgive me. I'm not like a big live streamer like that with stuff like this. Anyways, so here we are. So this was. Where am I? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I just had it. Oh, there we go. All right, so this again, it's called Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? So this video, this live stream might be an hour. Give me time if you're just here to just see what it's about and just jump out, that's fine. But to really, I have a lot to say, so I'm just kind of like working my way up. Okay, so anyways, Yasuke, right? So again, the main characters in this game are Yasuke and this Japanese character. So Yasuke, of course, is an African, and this trailer is very well made, like very well made. So it's showing you guys this scene here, right? So Yasuke, and there he is. There's no audio, so I muted the audio. And here he is again. You know, fight, like the scenes are sick. Like honestly, the trailer is really well done, well made. If they made like a full production of this, I would definitely watch it 100%. It's really well made, right? But that's not the issue, right? The issue is people have a problem with Yasuke, right? Being okay, we'll get there. Okay, so there he is. So the two protagonists, right? Yasuke and I can't remember her name. It starts with the N. Again, I'm not a gamer, right? So anyway, so that was like, so that's what it is, right? So now, well, this is. I did an interview with Thomas, and this is an interview I did. It was a 55-minute interview, and it was quite long and quite detailed, right? Because I read the book, right? When I went there, I think I only read half of it at the time because I had like I think a day or something like that, so half. And then afterwards I finished it. But I asked him different questions, right? As you see, the title is "Was There Really a Black Samurai?" So we went through that, asked him all these questions, right? Every sort kind of questions you can think, I asked him, right? So it's a 55-minute interview, right? So again, I asked him a lot of questions, and even like when he first learned about it, Yasuke, etc. Right? So I did that 5 years ago. We did it. You know, the book. I read the book. Other people bought the book, and you know, stuff like that. Cool. All right. Now I saw the trailer. Now I have caught up with what's happening. All right. Cool. Start doing research. There's a song. So let's see. I can share this one. So there's this song that is made by a Japanese. I'm not sure if he's a musician. I'm not sure if it's like maybe a YouTuber. Maybe they might make music. They might be artists or something. I'm not sure. But it's a song called Why Yasuke, right? And it's the person said this, right? So this is what the person said who did the song. You can, if you listen to it yourself, you're like, there's certain parts of the song. I'm like, it's like, hello, my overseas brothers. We Japanese are angry about Assassin's Creed Shadows and UBI. But day by day, history is being revised and Yasuke is being spread as a legendary samurai. We want to stop this revision of history. So we're sending you a song that expresses our anger, sadness, and doubt about the DEI of the game. Please listen, right? So this is a song that they have here, and you can go and check it out and listen to it yourself and see they have the English subtitles, so you can actually see what they're saying there, and you can tell me what you think about that song. Now, again, this video was a video that I was, let's see, this was the video that my video was referenced, right? So here, right, because I think at the time, maybe I did one of the, I don't know how many people interviewed Thomas at this time, like on videos, but I know I did this. So if you search, you'll definitely see my interview. So I was one of the first people to do this, like sit down interview and went in depth with the book and stuff with Thomas, right? So this is the person took a quote from what Thomas said in this video, in this interview, and he had like a lot of different things to say. He's a Japanese person living in Germany, I think, or at least the video I think is in German. And so if you want to watch this one, it's called again Yasuke, The Truth About the Black Samurai Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? So you can go and watch it with subtitles. It's in English. You can see all the things, and he brings sources and he cites different things and talk about all they know about Yasuke and all these things, right? So the conclusion of what he arrived at, there were certain things that he kind of harped on a little bit that for me, I'm gonna get to that in a second, but he was constantly saying, making reference to what the person that overthrew Nobunaga said about Yasuke, saying that Yasuke is an animal, and he mentioned that a few times in this commentary, right? And I just felt like it was one of those things where you feel like people are more comfortable with that sort of description of Yasuke, right? So I noticed that, and I want to get into like a few different things, but this is the conclusion of what he said, right? I feel like a lot of people that are talking about it, I'm not talking about this person specifically, but a lot of people that talk about it, like maybe just normal people, right? That you might not know the history of your own country or the depth, right, of everything about your country, right? So some of you guys are from all across the world, right? So you might not know everything about your country unless you make an intentional effort to go and study and learn about your country's history, right? There might be things that you're like, oh wow, sometimes even visitors or tourists come to your country and can teach you about something because you weren't acquainted with it, right? So a lot of people are saying things. I'm not talking about this guy because he seemed like he definitely does a research and get the books and all these things, right? So I'm not talking about him, right? So let me establish that. But a lot of different videos you see, people are saying all sorts of things, right? I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Now they're talking about the Wikipedia page about Yasuke as well, and just all sorts of things. But I want to go to the conclusion, because when you go through this video, he spoke about his grosses, about the trailer, etc., and then he started to talk about Yasuke for the bulk of the video, and Thomas Lockley as well. But I want to try. Let's see. Conclusion was, is it here? Yeah. Okay. So this was kind of cool because he actually at least gave you the conclusion. So let's see. Okay, the summary. So the first one is, there's a lot of information about Yasuke on the internet or in books is or was incorrect. So that's what he's saying. So he's saying most of the information, a lot of information on the internet or in books about Yasuke are incorrect, right? So now the second thing that he noticed based on his research and revising the literature, etc., is there's simply not enough reliable sources about Yasuke, right? Okay. Here's another point. It's not known whether he was a samurai or not. He definitely wasn't a legendary samurai. But he wasn't an unimportant person either. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any record of him left, because there are records of Yasuke. Okay, so that's kind of like his conclusion, right? So again, I saw different videos on the internet about, again, I watched different reviews, reactions, and some of them were quite racist, for lack of a better term, 100%. But there's one video I want to watch and react to this one, because this person, I've seen some of his videos, and to be honest, some of his videos kind of rub me the wrong way, because it's not really what I want to hear. But based on the way that he seems to be, for the most part, unbiased, right? So when he's talking about historical facts, he usually would give both sides, right? So he would only mention things that have evidence, right? So he would not say, okay, this or that or whatever it is. He always goes back to the evidence, right? So I might have a certain view, and you might have a different view, but he's like someone that's in the middle that actually says, okay, y'all believe this and y'all believe that. Let me actually go to the facts and the evidence and see what is more likely, or what does the evidence show you as an individual, right? So he did a really good video about that, and I want to actually play that video and react to it. But before I get to that video, and I think out of every single video I've seen, I like his perspective, because he gave a lot of information, and again, for both sides, right? And you'll see what the conclusion is of the matter. This is the thing. So I want to talk about that. So if you want to hear that, just wait and we'll get there eventually. My issue is this. The issue is not Ubisoft or Ubisoft, however you pronounce it, used like this flag from this company, or use some other thing from some other creators, etc., in the game itself. Because again, people are finding all sorts of things, right? Because they're so upset that this game that is uh, based in feudal Japan is featuring a black man as a samurai, right? So that, I think I understand, in the sense of I get it, right? To a certain level, I understand the outrage, in the sense that, okay, if you're thinking that this is something about your country, you want to see something that represents your people. I get that. There are different countries that have, like, Miss World, Miss Universe, and stuff like that, and the populace of the country might say, you know what, we want someone that looks like the phenotype of our people, etc., all these different things. As black people, we understand also that there has been a lot of, like, whitewashing of history, so to speak, right? You might see characters depicted a certain way in certain movies from a long time ago, and usually it doesn't matter. Like, people, there's no outrage really, right? You see a character that isn't of a certain persuasion, but yet still you see the person depicted as a certain way. You're like, wait, but why is he depicted as this? He was a, you know what I'm saying? Like, these things happen all the time, but we realize as well that there's a level of hypocrisy when it comes up, when the tables are flipped, right? Where it, you the thing is, if you're not a black person, you won't understand exactly what I mean. And I'm not coming here with a victim's mentality. That's not it by a long shot. I'm just talking about facts in terms of, like, the experience. And you guys also see why representation in terms of media matters, because this is a game we're talking about, right? And people are outraged about a game. Why? Because again, people understand that what representation matters in terms of, like, the way your people are depicted in media matters. And black people, the African diaspora, in the way that we have been depicted over many, many years, has been, for the most part, very, very negative. So people have that perception, and that's one of the reasons why this channel was birthed back in 2017, with the goal of what? Lambasting the negative stereotypes of black people, right? Pretty much, like, that was a goal, because I understood that people had a certain perception. So the issue is, so I get that in a general sense, that you want to see your people represented, right? If something is representing your people, your country, etc., you want to be represented. You want to see yourself represented there. Understood 100%. The issue is, because the character is black or of African descent or an African, that within itself rubs people the wrong way, because if you walk around as a black person, there's a different experience that we have. And look, there's just so many layers, because I was telling my wife this the other day, I was relaying something to her, and it was like, when you as a black person, of course not in every circumstance, but I live in Japan. I've been here for 8 years. Next month is going to be 8 years I've been living in Japan. And sometimes you meet some people, not everybody. Let me just put, not everybody, but you meet some people, and even when you're talking to them, they don't see you as an individual first. They only see the very first thing they see, again, right? And you have to fight with that reality. The image in their mind, the stereotype, right, is you have to fight with that. So when they see you and you look like me, the first thing is they don't see you as Ranzo. Hey, Ranzo, what's up? With a blank slate. They come and they see you as the stereotype. So all the things that the stereotype represents that they've seen, that's what they treat you as. So, like, for instance, I went to the beach maybe a little while ago, and I was coming out of 7-Eleven, for example, and this guy, like, he came out of his car, and the cars were right there. Like, I was parked there too, and so I assume he came out of his car, I guess, and was kind of looking down, I guess, fidgeting with his bag or something. And then, like, I came out of the 7-Eleven. The moment he looked up and saw me, he grabbed his bag so violently, like he saw a ghost. Like, and in my mind, I'm just like, bro, I'm like, bro, I'm like, wrong dude. You have the wrong person. He doesn't know me at all. That I'm the last person on earth to rob anybody. I've never robbed a person in my life, ever. But the moment he saw me, he's looking down, walking normal, he's fine. But the moment he looked up, he's like, I just happened to come out of the 7-Eleven that he's coming in at the same time, and he just saw me, and he just grabbed his bag. I'm like, again, he have no idea who I am, right? So he's thinking in his mind that I'm trying to rob his take his thing. He don't, so again, he never saw Ranzo. He saw a black man that is all these stereotype or stereotypical things that he has seen. So again, we have to, whenever we meet someone, it depends on the person, right? Their exposure, upbringing, all these things, right? And then when we meet those people, we have to combat the negative stereotype that's there, right? And then sometimes even when you're acting counter to what they believe, it's still something that you can imagine, like it's like a conflict, like, okay, well, this person is not exactly as I've seen and have been taught, but I'm very suspicious still. I'm a little bit suspicious of this person. So even though you're still operating and acting in a way that's contradictory to what they believe, there's still like a level of suspicion, like, okay, let me just keep watching him closely because maybe he's gonna slip at one, so it's like so people have this preconception, right? So we have to we have to deal with that a lot of times. And oftentimes I just ignore that, and I'm just myself, my jovial self. Hey, what's up? I'm just being myself. I'm just doing my thing. But some people, you got to work through that. So when someone sees us, they're not seeing you as an individual because they don't know you. If you're a black person, they don't know me, but they treat me as the stereotype that they see, and you have to work through that thing. So when someone sees a character or a black person, again, all those negative stereotypes, all the things that people have deep seated within them comes out. So a lot of the reaction to even this thing, and again, I'm just talking about the general reaction we're getting there, is not even so much that, okay, you know what, it's a game that's showing like a foreign samurai character, whatever the case is, and okay, that's not really cool. The mere fact that it's an African or a black person being depicted brings out more vitriol, brings up more hatred, the most horrendous comments that you can think about, and people are so vicious because of the fact that, of course, as a black person across the world, the general perception is not positive, unfortunately, or at the very least in media is not the case. So when something like that happens, it's almost like the prime target, like they're ready every insult they're throwing, right? So it's a whole different experience, because they're seeing what their mind believe a black person is, and they're attacking that. That's why even in the video, the guy, I felt like he was more comfortable saying, okay, well, this person said, well, this is how Yasuke was referred to as an animal and this and that, and he's not Japanese and and all these things. It was easy for him to say that, because it's almost like it would seem like that might be where he's more comfortable with acknowledging this. Okay, Yasuke was a slave, and like when you see some of the different videos and stuff and commentary, that's kind of like what people are more comfortable with, so they accept that. Just like even in real life, when if you as a black person might not be who people think you should be, or this person is not a criminal, or this person is not poor, or this person, whatever it is, right? So whatever it is, if you're not that, then it's like, okay, something is off. Like, what's happening here? It's like people can't accept that. Some people can't accept that. And it makes them uncomfortable for some reason, because you're not who they expect you to be. Well, black people should be here, but you're not there. So it's kind of weird. So there's kind of like that thing, right? So it's like, just overall, as you know, and it's not a victim talk, but it's a reality. People struggle with that. And or even myself as a black person, I can't really wrap my mind around how we're perceived, because I'm a black person. So I think I'm very open-minded. So for me, I understand being on this side of the divide, and I understand who I am as a person. I understand who my wife is and my daughters. I understand all these things, and all the black people I know, my family, etc. So I know. So I understand, and so when I see a person, I'm like, okay, so I would imagine that maybe somebody else that's not you, that the way that they view you, or some of the beliefs that they harbor, to them, again, is kind of inconsequential in their life, because again, they are not affected by it. So it's like, okay, they can just hold it and it's fine. But you as a person that walk in the skin, you understand. So you know how to treat people, certain things, because again, you live the experience, and you know what's true and you know what's false. So you handle it a little bit differently, not a little bit, like you handle it a lot differently than most people that aren't black. Right. So again, so there's just so many different things, right? So when people are saying certain things, they don't even care or think about what they're saying because it's not them. They're not affected. It's not them. It's not their family members. It's not their loved ones. So they will say whatever they say, and it's just like, oh, animals or whatever it is, and it's like it doesn't really matter. So some of the things that are coming out because of that. The way that people talk about some of the things are coming up because of that. Who they believe black people are, what they've been taught, what they want to be true. So it's a problem. So you go through the videos and you see all these things and you're like, wow. So it's not about the little things. So now they're attacking Ubisoft for all different sort of things because, again, they hate them so much because of their guts to try to do this thing. And of course, there are different things that, I'm just talking about the fact that Yasuke, being an African or a black man and being a samurai, we're going to get to that. And the guy's going to explain all these things in terms of the language, and that during the period that Yasuke even lived, that term samurai wasn't even used to describe that warrior class, right? So that term samurai wasn't even used back then at that time when Yasuke lived. And we're gonna get to all these things, and you will see as well that information is so crazy. And I get it. It's like when you read something, it's like it really depends on your own worldview, your own prejudice, your own biases, all these things. When you can read the same thing and arrive at a different conclusion based on your own bias. And it's crazy how that happens, right? Someone might read and say, well, okay, this term is it describes these type of people, but I don't know exactly because I don't think he's a samurai because A, B, C, D, or it wasn't, that can't be the case, or but we saw just now that the guy said, again, they can't say that he was a samurai, and they can't say that he wasn't a samurai. But because maybe this and that, they're more leading to the fact that, well, he's not, because, A, B, C, and D. And why? Why is that? Because he's black. And you don't want that to be a part of your history. You don't want, you can't accept that reality at all. You can't. Because, again, why can't you? It's not like your whole history is being hijacked. It's like, okay, this is a real person that actually lived. So the challenge is not whether or not he existed, because he existed, and I think that's not something that's being debated at all, because it's there are records, right? So we know that Yasuke lived. Got it. Cool. But his position is a problem because he's an African. So that could never be the case. Are you crazy? That's what it is, right? People are going nuts, okay? Yeah, so even Thomas is under like a lot, like from what I'm seeing, I don't know, I just see people saying stuff and writing stuff and saying, oh, he's this and all sort of stuff or whatever, right? So I don't even know what he's going through even now. But I want to play this video, right? And it's a video game. But you see, this is the thing. We understand the power of media. Don't let anybody ever tell you that media is not powerful. And that's why when we are depicting other people, right, sometimes people don't give the same care. But when they are being depicted, whoever they are, and that's how we are as humans. The only thing is that not everyone is treated equally. Not everyone is treated the same way. So if you are being depicted, let's say I'm depicting someone else, right? I'm making a story about someone else. I might not take as much care if it's not me. If I'm depicting myself or my people, maybe I take more care. But then when it's reversed, then we see the blind spots, right? So we see, oh snap, oh, that's how it feels. Oh, this is what it is. And then we start understanding that, wow, okay. But so for some reason, when it's not us in the hot seat, so to speak, it's like we don't take as much care. Just to show you that humans are humans. All of us are humans. All of us feel very similar things. But when it comes down to black people, people don't care about that. But if the roles are ever reversed, in every circumstance, when the roles are reversed, people act how Black people act when they're placed in a position, because you understand, wow, oh, we're all humans. But because of the programming and what people have seen, that's why it's repulsive to people to see how dare they do this. People are calling for, if you look at the video, just look at some of the comments real quick. And I wanna show you guys this. If you look at the comments, right? It is, which one is it? And this video has like what, 9 million? Is this one? No, not this one. This one has 9 million views, and like how many comments? 9 million views in like 2 months, and it has over 90,000 comments, right? And they're saying boycott, like, boycott this, all these things, right? Like all the comments, right? Negative comments saying all sort of things. Like, you can hardly find any positive comments in this whole thing. And I think it's this one, like they're calling for, like, don't pre-order, don't do this, don't do all these things. And let's see, is it this one? But yeah, like I went through some of them and I saw that, right? So all the comments, like 90 plus, of course I never went through all of it. So I'll just say, to be very, very correct, not to exaggerate at all, I see most of the comments I've seen, I don't think I've seen any positive comments at all. Maybe a couple, maybe. But the vast majority of the comments are negative about the game, right? Calling for, people not to buy it, not to endorse it, not to play it, all these things, right? I'm like, wow, like, look, they're going hard, right? But I want to play this video. And I think I should be able to react to this, because I feel like this video, he really touched on a lot of things, and he does like these videos about history and talk about different things, like what were these people really like, and based on evidence and all these things. And for the most part, he really goes in, right? And not all the time I like what he's saying, right? Because sometimes there's some people that we might say, okay, well, this person was black or that person, and he would go into the historical facts and dig up all these things and say, well, this is the case, and it's more likely that they're this or whatever, right? So sometimes I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying like I'm a big fan of this guy in that sense, right? But I saw this video, and I'm not saying I'm also not a fan, right? I've seen he does some interesting work, right? So this video, in the way that he presented this, I liked it a lot. Because I feel like it was very balanced, right? And it wasn't biased in that sense, even though he said, well, I won't give you guys a conclusion. But what happened was he did a video before this one, right? And he was just like reacting to the trailer. And I guess people came after him. So as a result of that, he had to go in and do this video that I really want to react to. Screen, okay, wow. Oh, he says restart your browser. Wow, okay, let's see. It says it has disconnected from my audio, but hopefully I'll be able to play the audio. I don't know. But I want to react to this and just show you guys, again, this is a good way to like wrap up everything in terms of what evidence actually say, right? And see what the conclusion is. And again, the guy that mentioned used my video in his video that a lot of people are mentioning, this video here, this video, again, his conclusion is, based on the data, they can't say Yasuke was not a samurai or that Yasuke was a samurai. So again, that's his conclusion. But again, because maybe just his worldview, he's Japanese in a way that he feels about this subject matter, is close to him. He's saying, like, he's more leaning toward, nah, that's not it. Y'all are just, nah, that's not it, right? That's not the case because XYZ. I think it's not the case because all these different factors, right? And then of course, I just felt like he harped a little bit too much on the animal part. I gotta say, like, way too comfortable. Just is a quote, of course, from the historical documents. I get it. When I'm just like, you understand what someone is more comfortable with saying. So someone is talking about someone's talking about yeah, and there's another samurai too, right? William Adams. So anyways, I hope the audio plays. Let's see. Let me know if it plays, because this thing is saying I can't restart the browser because that's going to be a problem. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Okay, can y'all hear that? Oh, wait. I never even shared the right thing. Let me just search this. This is what I want to. Did somebody hear that? I'm waiting for a comment. Let me play again. All right, I'm waiting. Okay, y'all can hear it. Okay. Okay, this is not good because it I see it's lost connection. I don't even know if there's a way that I can actually get this connection back without can I reload it? I don't know if that's gonna work. All right, let me just all right. This might be a little bit complicated, but let me stop this and maybe if I restart it, maybe that will help. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Okay, let's see. All right, let me know. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. Let me know if the audio works.
Here we are. We are back with a Yasuke saga because.
All right, can you guys hear that? I just want to make sure. Okay, good. All right, so let's just watch this. I'm not sure. I'm probably gonna get, I don't know, copyright or something, but I think it's important. All right, so let's watch this video. I'm gonna pause and just respond to it. But he gives a really good breakdown. So I think this again is a good way to wrap up the whole thing. But let's just watch this, right?
So here we are back with a Yasuke saga because it is a saga. I've already made a video, of course, with this whole situation about Yasuke being the main protagonist of the new Assassin's Creed revealed by Ubisoft, of course, a company that we should always hate, by the way, for what they've done to Heroes of Might and Magic. But regardless of that, I digress. I'd like to begin this video, which is the new episode in this YouTube Netflix original, Yasuke and the Metatron. I would like to begin this episode by talking about two spectacularly idiotic comments that I got. First, we got this comment of a person accusing me of, oh, but do you even play video games? You don't seem like someone who plays games. You're just doing this for the views. Do you? I don't. Hold my beer. I had noticed that, but so I'm woke now. I don't know if you knew this. I don't know if you had noticed that, but apparently I'm awoke because, according to this absolute, you total Neanderthal. Well, actually, no, because I would be insulting Neanderthals because Neanderthals could develop tools. This person isn't able, with his 15 IQ, to develop tools. Of that, I am 100% sure.
Look, again, I don't know who he's talking about. Again, he's talking about some commentary. So he's getting to it, right? So I can't skip through it too much because I don't know where it's at, but we're just going to watch it and just hear the evidence and all that, right? And again, he's just one of those people that he comes and he talks about historical things. And again, not everything he says we're going to like, generally speaking, right? So I've seen like maybe, I don't know, maybe a handful of his videos, maybe 5 or less thereabout over the years. But anyways, we're going to keep going. Let me just make sure the audio is coming. All right, so let's keep going.
Sure, adamant. That's the word. Crude, rude, completely idiotic Denisovan. How am I woke? Because I'm telling the truth. Oh, I know why you think I'm woke. You think I'm woke because I didn't go out with a camera and say Yasuke was just a slave. That's all it was. That's what you wanted me to say. Not gonna say it because I care about evidence. But that's it.
Right. So now we're seeing what he's saying, right? So he's saying that people want him to say a certain thing because they want him to say a certain thing. Understood. If you're a black person, you get it. I don't think it's very difficult for us to wrap our minds around it based on some of the interactions that we've had since, we're able to think for ourselves. So I get that. So the good thing about it is that, again, he's not a person that usually talks about these, like, again, as he said, evidence. So let's just continue watching what he's saying, and we'll see. He's going to break down a lot of things. And again, just like the same Japanese guy again said, they can't say he wasn't a samurai, and they can't say he was a samurai, and he gave different reasons and pull up different documents. But let's watch this video, and you'll just see he's going to pull up the same, talk about the same things. He won't show us many, on screen. I don't think he showed any on screen really, like the other guy, but he referenced some of the same data and stuff like
That's
that.
exactly what I mean when I talk about political propaganda. That is what it will do. It creates tribalism, it creates polarization, and it puts you in a position whereby you are so hell-bent to defend your tribe, whether it be the super ultra, oh, unless you like it, you're a racist and a bigot crowd, or the opposite crowd, like this idiot, as long as I debunk their opposition, oh, they're more than happy. Yeah, you're great. But the moment I don't pander to them, which I don't pander to anyone, I pander to the truth. The moment I'm like, well, you know what? Looking at the historical record, even though we don't know whether he was a samurai or not, and that is the only consistent position that a person can hold when it comes to this discussion of Yasuke being samurai or not, we do know that that remains a possibility. I personally lean a little more towards the idea of he probably was a warrior, he was an impressive man with a lot of strength, and he was given a lot of privileges by Oda Nobunaga, who clearly liked him. But the idea of him being actually given the specific title of samurai is not impossible, but it is a little improbable simply because it was extremely rare.
Now, so we're seeing again, when it comes on to who Yasuke was, there's no debate in the fact that he actually existed. He was a historical figure, right? So that's established. Now, the problem is, as far as Yasuke is concerned, is the image of, again, an African, a black man being a samurai in Japan. It's like, no way. Like, people with a certain mindset would not even want to entertain the idea at all. And the reason why this is coming to the surface, because even when I did the interview with Thomas 5 years ago, it wasn't as popular, it wasn't as known, right? Like in Japan, really, right? Unless you're really digging deep to really find this, right? And then because of the game right now, that of course, you know, Assassin's Creed, I even played, and I'm not a gamer like that when I was younger, right? So now because of that, you could imagine people seeing the trailer and like, whoa, 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 whoa. And that's when all the investigation starts. And I think I saw a tweet, like someone posted a tweet saying a senator is going to investigate this and all sort of things. People are saying, they're saying even Thomas should be banned from Japan. And anyways, let's just continue watching the video. And this is where we are, all of us. Unfortunately, if something is not the way that we want it, and someone is defending our position and we're with them, but the moment they're trying to defend or bringing something to us that's evidence-based or factual, and it's not supporting our argument, we might then say, okay, you know what? I don't want to hear from you anymore. But while you're talking about what I want to hear, I'll hear from you. But if that's not the case, be quiet. Let's continue.
But it did happen, as I mentioned on the previous video, link in the description, to, for example, William Adams, who was given the title samurai, and so it's not impossible. Today, however, I would like to kind of build.
So William Adams is a samurai, right? So that he came after Yasuke, and he wasn't black.
Up my case a bit more this time, rather than talking about generically what it means to be a samurai and how people became samurai, which is what I did in the previous video. Today I would like to instead look at these sources, because even though it's true, absolutely, that there is no overwhelming evidence that tells us 100% this man was a samurai. We do not have that, regardless of how much some people want him to be a samurai. On the other hand, regardless of how much people do not want him to be a samurai, there are some pointers. Now, what are pointers? Well, whenever you study archaeology, history, literature, all of these subjects that have to do with the past, all the way up to freaking genomic sequencing of, for example, DNA data that comes from freaking Neanderthals, the one thing that you do is that whenever you don't have 100% consistency in your results, so you don't know without a shade of a doubt, which does happen a lot, it happens a lot in the way we reconstruct history, which is something that people don't know, particularly those who up to 15 seconds ago had never looked into not only Japanese history, but mostly history in general and archaeology and how all of these different subjects work and cooperate together. History of arts, the examining of material goods, the literary works, the surrounding civilization and cultures and how they speak about the specific event in order to compensate for the lack of, for example, as I was saying, material good evidence.
So again, so you see, so you're saying there are people who want Yasuke to be a samurai, like to say definitively he was. Full stop. You can't debate it. And then there are people who do not want Yasuke to be a samurai, right? And they want to definitively say he's not a samurai. It's impossible. That can never be the case. Shut up. Go away, right? So there are two groups. And then, of course, there's some people too in the middle who are saying, well, okay, he could be. And, you know, based on the evidence, he's going to talk about it. Based on just the way you are, what you want to be true, you're going to lean either or, one way or the other, right? Well, okay, it's not saying he's not. This word is used for these type of people, but it's kind of, you know what I'm saying? So it really depends on what you believe. It's such a, it's not uncommon to us. I think if you're a black person, you understand the sort of like double standard, the hypocrisy, you understand how it is. And again, I'm not coming from a victim's place at all, because I'm not a victim. But let's continue. I like the way that this guy was talking about it. As you see, he's not like a pro-black person per se, right? He's just, again, doing the video, and he does these videos about all different sort of controversial things, and he has some interesting videos, some of the ones I've seen.
And yet now they become experts of all of these things and state things with 100% certainty, which is cringe. So this idea of, unless you have somewhere that tells you 100% this man was samurai, you have to say that he wasn't. This is insane, because then there will be so many battles in history that we talk about, say the Battle of Azincourt or Agincourt, the Battle of Crécy, the Battle of Hastings, that are mostly based on a connection between art, the way they represented, literary mentions, the way we were told by not only eyewitnesses, sometimes we work on secondhand, by the way, not just battles, but events. Yes, sometimes we have eyewitness, other times we don't. So we need to rely on what we have. And then, of course, archaeological evidence. But all of this is not always nice, clean, and easy, and everything is 100%. No, there is a lot of guesswork that is obviously educated guessing, and that's done by pointers. Now, what
So what he's talking about is something that's done across the board, not just in terms of Yasuke or just the history of Yasuke. It's done across the board. But again, we see that because a lot of people don't want this to be true at all, they're coming out in full force. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this video, because I want to talk about, again, I spoke about just the way black people are perceived and the things that we have to fight in life, just work through and come up against and stuff like that, and things that we encounter essentially. So I wanted to touch on that, and also what he's saying. There are people that just don't want this to be true. So if the evidence might seem okay, well, it's not. They never said these exact words, so it can't be the case. But he's going to break it down again and talk about the same evidence, and even the same evidence that Thomas. And the thing with Thomas is that people are talking about the fact that he's passing off the book as a work of nonfiction, when by and large they're saying it's a work of fiction. I think the same quote that the guy mentioned in his video was something about like sort of like intellectual assumption. I think that's the wrong phrasing, but not, of course, the book. Like Thomas used the facts that he found, and then of course they embellished and added things, right? Because there's not a lot of information about Yasuke, but so it's like there are facts in it, but it's also there's a lot of like fiction in terms of like, they took creative freedom in terms of writing the story to make it, I think, a 400-page book, right? But again, there are elements in the book that were factual, right? I wish I could get the same. I want to get the, let me continue this video. Wait, let me just find this, because I want to get the right word in. Let me just get this real quick, guys. Hopefully you're following. Let's see, where is it? Okay, so the right wording is, it says, okay, the actual core things about Yasuke himself, they were already there. That was what I read in 2009 when I found the first story. There was nothing else extra. And when we make the informed research-based assumptions, so that's what he calls it, informed research-based assumptions, what was also the work I did. So he's talking about the book, right? So again, the book contains the factual information, right? But also, in addition to that, to a large extent, what he refers to as informed research-based assumptions. And of course, they took creative license with a lot of things in the book as well. But let's continue with this here.
what do I mean by pointers when we're talking about Yasuke? Well, one of the things is there is a post, believe it or not, and then, of course, archaeological evidence. But all of this is not always nice, clean, and easy, and everything is 100%. No, there is a lot of guesswork that is obviously educated guessing, and that's done by pointers. Now, what do I mean by pointers when we're talking about Yasuke? Well, one of the things is there is a post, believe it or not, on Reddit. I know, I hate Reddit, but still, there is a post made by a very intelligent individual who, and I will leave a link in the description below, kind of the exception to the rule, if you will, where he put together quite a few interesting passages of period mentions, not only of Yasuke and how he was described, for example, focusing on the idea that he was giving a stipend. I'll kind of go deeper into this, but also at the same time, other instances in which the exact same words with the exact same kanji has been used in contemporary sources. So we have got mentions from 1573, 1578, 1582, 1583, and so forth. Now, what's interesting about this study is that it kind of connects to a sort of a wider, deeper understanding of Japanese instances in which the exact same words with the exact same kanji has been used in contemporary sources. So we have got mentions from 1573, 1578, 1582, 1583, and so forth. Now, what's interesting about this study is that it kind of connects to a sort of a wider, deeper understanding of Japanese, because a specific class in university when I was majoring in Japanese, which was called Japanese philology, 80 university credits, and I was already familiar with these passages. And there are in fact even more passages. But I think if we look at these very quickly together, you will see that indeed the word stipend that we know was given to Yasuke is found in many other period sources, but in connection to the samurai class. So is the fact that Yasuke was given a stipend automatically a proof that he was a samurai? No, because Oda Nobunaga pretty much was doing whatever he wanted, and a few times he did give stipends to people, and then members in his crew, and particularly the upper echelon of society, were complaining about it. With that being said, Chinese engineers who were employed by Oda Nobunaga did not receive the same sort of privileges that Yasuke did receive. And therefore, this is, as I say, a pointer. It's something that can at least sort of create a ground that tells us, you know, there is a possibility, because he's using a word that is normally specifically connected to the samurai class. And in this case...
Yes, again, I got to stop it and just give commentary because of, you know, the way YouTube is. But again, we're seeing what's happening again, right? So there are different things. He's breaking it down, and it depends what you want to be true. You lean toward this way or that way. If you want it to be not true, you lean toward, okay, you know what, this, well, him getting a stipend from Nobunaga doesn't mean anything, or because he gives stipend to different type of people, whatever the case is, right? So it's like, again, it really depends. So we're seeing what's happening here is a matter of, again, as I said from the beginning, it's what you want to be true. You lean to one way or the other, depending on what you want to be true. Let's continue.
Case it's been used on Yasuke. So whenever you say he was just a slave, he owned land. He was in line to receive a castle. So he never did. But then again, because of what happened historically to Oda Nobunaga and how he was killed and betrayed. With that being said, let me also underline some other pointers that instead kind of point to the opposite direction. So the idea of Yasuke not being samurai. And then we keep on kind of having a deeper dive into this concept, but always not from the position of political pandering, but simply from the position of, okay, what does the evidence say? And what is the most plausible and probable conclusion? One thing that they do in the trailer of that game is that they show Yasuke wearing armor. Now, we know he was given a sword. With that being said, we don't know if he was given an armor, and since it was mentioned that he was given a sword, I cannot doubt that he was given a full suit of samurai armor. So the fact that in the video game he's wearing a full suit of samurai armor is most likely historically incorrect, although then again, it's a fantasy game after all. Another aspect that I don't think matches historical Yasuke is the way he fights. As I briefly mentioned, and I kind of want to go a little deeper into this, in the trailer we see that Yasuke fights exactly like a Japanese samurai. So the way he moves, the way he uses the weapons, you can tell, oh, this guy has definitely been trained for decades in Japan, and he has learned how to fight and master all sorts of different Japanese weapons and samurai combat styles. But that's not the case. I mean, Yasuke was not in Japan for a long enough period of time to learn to fight like that, and also
I think they said it was like maybe 15 months Yasuke was in Japan for, like over a year there approximately. So again, we see that he's breaking down all these different things, right? He's going through different things. So someone actually gave a super chat here. I just came on this, I just saw it, so I'm just going to read it. The person said Yasuke was brought to Japan during the Wait, let me just go up. During the Nanban slave trade, what they don't tell you is that he wasn't the only black person here. I'm there. So they're talking about another person who is a Sekunoe. What's this? Tambura. Oh wait, do I know? Okay, so I think that's I can't. It's kind of small. I think it's Tamura Maro. Was the first black shogun of Japan in the 800s and the original samurai. Okay, I don't know much about that part, so I can't say yes, yeah, or nay to that. But right now let's just finish this video with this guy.
So it never mentioned that he learned to fight that way. We think he knew how to fight. It's just that also because there is this piece of iconography where we can see him wrestling, and we see that this important man on the side, which could well be Oda Nobunaga, was enjoying the fight. I think it was one of those people that not only had his own experiences, as we know he did in India, but also it was just strong. You know, you do have people that are so strong that you can even compete with people who perhaps don't have the same level of genetic lottery winning, but then again, they are trained. So training kind of helps with that. But people that are naturally strong, they will be formidable foes. And I think...
So again, we're seeing that Yasuke lived. Again, we're seeing that Yasuke lived. Like he was actually in Japan at the time. And he was very close to Nobunaga as well. But again, it's what you want to be true. Right? If the issue was that, you know what, this game, if you're going to do a game set in Japan, please let both protagonists be of Japanese descent. We understand in that context, but that's not the challenge right now. That's not the issue that most people have. People are repulsed and livid by the fact that you're going to show a black man as a samurai in Japan. No way. We'll stop at nothing to overturn that. But let's continue.
Think that the idea of him being a formidable foe is absolutely plausible, also because he was employed as a kosho. Now, a kosho specifically is what could be translated in Japanese as some kind of a page. But don't think of a page in the sense that it's just going to be a young boy. Yes, some would be very young. But generally speaking, kosho, who were employed by high-status samurai as being their pages or carrying their weapons, sometimes carrying their helmets, which is another kind of weird thing about the trailer. He's carrying his own helmet. But if you want him to be a samurai in the game, then he shouldn't be carrying his own helmet. He should have someone like a retainer or a page to carry his helmet. That one is another piece of incorrect, historically inaccurate representation in the game, apart from anything else. But definitely the idea of having someone like a page was a thing in Japan, but often they would be coming from important families, and many times from samurai families. And these pages will eventually grow up to become samurai themselves. Not always the case. There are lots of different versions, but that's the idea. And this is a little bit of a response to all those who said, oh, he was just a slave carrying the sword. That's not what a kosho is.
So you see that, right? So even stuff like that, again, people just want, I gotta give some commentary. But again, that's what people want to be true. So again, when someone hears, you know what, actually, let me just show you guys this really quickly. If I can show you guys, we're going to finish this video, but I did a short, and even Thomas himself did not believe that this was true. Let me just play this real quick. If I can find that short on this channel here, short, wait, Yasuke. Oh, you know what? Maybe I might have to search. Hold up. Give me a second. I want to show you guys this. And let's see. Here it is. So look, can I share? Okay, let's share this. Look at this.
Around the year 1579, an African of Mozambican origin arrived in Japan in the services of an Italian.
At first, I didn't believe it. I'll admit that. I work for a university called Nihon University in Tokyo. My job is historian, researcher, and also a language teacher. Yasuke is pretty well known in Japan. He's not known by everybody. He was taken as a slave, as a boy, almost definitely from what is now South Sudan. He gained his freedom. Valiano took him as his bodyguard to Japan. In Japan, he causes a sensation. The most powerful warlord in Japan demands to see who's disturbing his peace. He adapts to the situation. He manages somehow. The Japanese sources say he has a fantastic demeanor. Then Nobunaga throws a party for him. At the end of this party, he's made a rich man. He's given 37 kilos of copper coins. He spoke very good Japanese, according to the sources. He was employed. He was given a sword. He was given a residence. He was given servants of his own, and he was given a stipend, an income. That's why we say he's the first foreign samurai. He goes into battle with Nobunaga twice, possibly 3 times. 2 of those, we have definite evidence that Yasuke was there. At first, I didn't believe it.
So this is, again, him saying at first, oh, I think you guys weren't actually seeing that just now. Were you seeing it? Maybe. He was saying that he never believed it, right? So let's continue this video.
And we know for a fact that he was given the title of Kosho. That one is out of question to say that he was just a slave carrying the sword. It was a position of honor. To the opposite side, because I'm going to upset everyone today, those who are absolutely like, no, he was a samurai. And if you don't say he was a samurai, you're a racist and a bigot. Well, there is this guy, I don't know if it's that crowd, but he does say this. He's, as you can read, he's saying, well, if he talks like a duck, it moves like a duck, and he acts like a duck, it is a duck. No, that's not how it works. So once again, I can see someone who hasn't spent 10 minutes into looking into Japanese military history and now talks like a great expert. I'm not an expert, but I did spend many years studying this, both at university and then in my own time, and subsequently because of the channel. The reason why this sentence...
And I'm also not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, right? Again, I interviewed Thomas, I looked through the videos, and again, even people who don't want Yasuke to be a samurai, again, said, based on all the evidence that they see that's limited, right? It's not a lot. They still said, at the end of it all, that we can't say definitively that Yasuke was not a samurai, or we also cannot say definitively that he was not a samurai. So it's like no one can say definitively that he was a samurai based on evidence, or say he wasn't, right? So that's the conclusion of people that also don't want Yasuke to be a samurai, or saying, well, that's not, it doesn't seem like that's probable, right? So again, that's pretty much the conclusion, even with someone who is maybe an expert or a Japanese person or someone else. It seems like that's what it is based on evidence, right? But let's just continue.
This is nonsensical from a Japanese perspective is because look at a ashigaru. An ashigaru, or light infantry, is a non-samurai type of combatant in feudal Japan. And whether it be Japanese military history and now talks like a great expert. I'm not an expert, but I did spend many years studying this, both at university and then in my own time, and subsequently because of the channel. The reason why this sentence is nonsensical from a Japanese perspective is because look at a ashigaru. An ashigaru, or light infantry, is a non-samurai type of combatant in feudal Japan. And whether it be pre-15th century when they were half farmers and then occasionally being employed to fight, or a post-15th century when they actually become professional soldiers and that's what they do, that's their profession, ashigaru, regardless of which one of these two, they talk like a duck, move like a duck, but they're not a duck. So what do I mean by that? They wear armor, just like samurai, still not a samurai. They use the same weapons as a samurai. They use spears, so yari, naginata, katana, and all the other types of weapons that a samurai would also carry. They use bows. They use matchlock type arquebuses, still not a duck. Before anyone says, well, yeah, but they weren't allowed to wear the daisho, so katana and wakizashi, that depends on the period. Because veteran ashigaru absolutely did wear the daisho too, still not a samurai, still not a duck. And last but not least, the way they fought was very similar to that of a samurai. In fact, you could easily have a low-ranking kind of lazy samurai. They also existed who maybe didn't, yeah, he had the title, but he had never fought. And then you can have a veteran ashigaru who, instead of seeing many battles, that then he would fight more like a duck than a duck himself. So does this sentence make any sense within this discussion of is Yasuke a samurai? No, because you can absolutely, in feudal Japan, look like a samurai, talk like a samurai, fight like a samurai, use the same weapons as a samurai, wear the same armor as a samurai, still not a samurai. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my...
Right, so I like, again, the way that he addresses both sides, right? So let's continue here. Again, you can go and watch this on his channel. Again, you know, the name is oh, here it is right in front of my face. Metatron, right? You can go and check out his channel. I put the link in the description once I end the live stream and just update the links and stuff like that, so you can go and check out the video in its entirety, and also the first one that he did as well. So let's continue.
Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth. Anyways, since we're here, let's have a look at these sources. This black man called Yasuke was given a stipend, a private residence, etc., and was given a short sword with a decorated sheath. He's sometimes seen in the role of weapon bearer. So these are the kanji for stipend. Let's see the other passages. The passages that we're going to examine today come from a specific book called Shincho Koki, which, if you want to talk about Oda Nobunaga and you haven't read that, like the majority of the YouTubers who are now joining the fray, taking either the position of he was definitely not a samurai or taking the position absolutely was a samurai, haven't read. So if you haven't read this book and you want to talk about Oda Nobunaga, you're just doing politics. That's what you're doing. So let me read you a little bit from this. From 1553, Lord Buei the Younger fled directly from his fishing spot on the river to Nagoya, dressed only in bathrobe to call on Nobunaga's help. Accordingly, Nobunaga signed him a stipend sufficient to maintain a retinue of 200 men and installed him in the Tennobo temple. Same kanji, stipend, but this is a samurai. And the same word is designating a large enough stipend to have a retinue of 200 men. Just a slave? Let's continue. Still from the Chronicles, the original family name of Saito Yamashiro Dosan was Matsunami. He was a native of the western hills of Yamashino province. One year, he left the Kyoto area for the provinces and called on the help of Nagai Tozaemon of Mino, who granted him a stipend and assigned auxiliary to him. Same kanji. From 1573, you have failed to make appropriate awards to a number of lords who have attended you faithfully and have never been remiss in their loyal service to you. Instead, you have awarded stipends to newcomers with nothing much to their credit. That being so, the distinction between loyal and disloyal becomes irrelevant. Same kanji, still samurai context. Next, men who have given you steadfast and blameless service but have not been awarded a stipend by you find themselves in dire need in Kyoto. They tuned to Nobunaga with a heavy heart. If he were to say a few words in their behalf, they assumed, then surely you would take. Interestingly enough, men here are still samurai. But I think this is interesting also because it paints a more profound picture when it comes to how Nobunaga acted. Now, one of the people in the comments recently told me, no, Nobunaga would never have nominated a non-Japanese samurai because that's against tradition and you cannot go against tradition. Nobunaga went constantly against tradition. And as you can see, people get pissed at him for it. Like, why are you giving stipend to people that don't deserve it from the perspective of the Japanese, which of course at the time would have been quite xenophobic, as we know. So the idea that he would have never called Yasuke or nominated him as a samurai because of tradition is nonsensical. Still, it doesn't prove that he did. So I'm not trying to say he absolutely was samurai. My personal conclusion still remains the same. We don't know, and I lean slightly towards he was not. But the fact that people say there is no way he could have been samurai, well, let's keep reading. From 1573, when
so we're seeing like his position, right? We're seeing what he's saying, right? So I think, again, we can, by this point, we can establish and understand that, again, it depends on what you want to be true, right? If you don't want him to be, or if you want him to be. Based on what I've seen since all this started happening, my conclusion is, again, there's no definitive evidence to say he was definitively a samurai or that he was not a samurai, right? So
Maki, on being questioned by Nobunaga, gave a rough account of his career. Nobunaga commented that it would be a shame to lose a man with such marvelous accomplishments to his credit, and stated that his life would be spared were he to pledge his loyal service to Nobunaga. This is an opposing samurai. To this, Kanemaki replied that he had harbored a deep grudge against the Asakura for a long time. Now that so many warriors of standing had been killed, however, he could not permit himself to stay alive by giving vent to his resentment. The moment he was remiss in his loyal service, Nobunaga would surely think that whatever he might have said at this juncture was just an expedient to save his skin, and would have cancelled his stipend. Why? Because a stipend is an automatic connection to samurai, to these people. Then Kanemaki would be unable to live with himself and with what people would say about him. He would therefore cut his own belly now, having made this plea. He took his own life. His heroism was unprecedented and his glory was beyond dispute. Now, this once again demonstrates how there is a very strong connection between the word stipend and the word, or the position, the social ranking position of samurai, because being a samurai in Japan is not just a job, it is a social position within the complex hierarchy of Japanese social structures and the pyramid of the social structure in Japan. But this sort of introduces another point of discussion, which is the idea of committing harakiri or seppuku, as is mostly commonly known in Japan. So this ritual where they take their own life, the samurai, when their lord dies. Now we know that Yasuke didn't do this. Okay, so when Oda Nobunaga was betrayed and killed, Yasuke doesn't kill himself. And some people are saying, well, you see, then he wasn't samurai. But think about it for a second. Even if he was given the title of samurai, which we don't know, he wasn't Japanese. So that would have been, yeah, great honor. They would have had to explain to him first what a samurai is, but imagine they do, through translation with the Portuguese. And then he's like, oh, great, I've been given this great honor. You know, I'm a big man and I'm bodyguard, this is the guy with power, great. But it's not like he would automatically take everything that has to do with being a samurai from that culture. So the moment...
So you see, right, again, on either side of the divide, it doesn't matter what position you take, people make assumptions, educated guesses, right, and all these things, but no one knows definitively, again, and that's all I'm going to be harping through this video, no one knows definitively if he was a samurai or if he was not a samurai. That's what the evidence shows.
That, and I think, I mean, any of you, because I've seen people say, see, he was just a coward. Well, I want to see you. You know, if I was given the title of samurai in the 16th century, late 16th century Japan, yes, I would feel honored. And I'm like, wow, I'm right next to the big, important man, Oda Nobunaga. But if the guy dies, it's not like I'm going to commit seppuku now just because I've been given the title. Yes, I would leave. Well, I want to see you in that position. I think any of us, particularly who weren't brought up in Japanese, feudal Japanese culture, would have done the same. That does not automatically mean, oh, then he wasn't a samurai because he's not behaving like a samurai. He's not behaving like a samurai because he's not Japanese. Now, one more thing that I'd like to bring to the attention here is that I know why people are so mad about this entire situation. I know exactly why. You are pissed because you see that they're pushing politics. You know that they're not doing it for personal inspiration, but they're doing it as it's been demonstrated by some leaks when it comes to some of the people that worked into and had a hand into this decision. You know they're doing it for politics, and that pisses you off. I 100% understand you. I do. But I think the people that now are calling me woke for not refusing to just present the evidence are just wanting me to do propaganda, but from the opposite side. That's not what I do, and that's not what I promised with this channel. This channel is here to rise above the propaganda and the polarization and tribalism that comes with that and say, okay, but what do the sources say? What is the most academically neutral and professional position and understanding of this question that we can share? This is what I do. And sometimes I will debunk the so-called woke and all the people that are trying to push inclusivity when it's not historically accurate. But one thing I will never do is to hide the facts. And even though I myself dislike it when they force inclusivity in historical contextualizations, well, in this case, Yasuke did exist. And even though I myself lean towards the idea of, I don't think he was a samurai, still, I'm not going to just hide any evidence or pointers to the contrary, because that would make me extremely biased. And even though we all have a little degree of bias, if there is something I can avoid doing, is lying. And I'm not going to lie just to attack a studio that I have a problem with. And as I say, I have a problem with Ubisoft because of Heroes of Might and Magic. It's an old feud, kind of predates all of this. Last but not least, that is the question of the name. Some people are saying, once again, you couldn't be a samurai without being given a surname, and therefore the fact that he's not recorded with a Japanese surname, it means automatically that he was not a samurai. Once again, this is a misconception, because in reality, not all samurai were rich, wealthy, famous, and powerful. And believe it or not, when it comes to both low-ranking samurai, but even most importantly, a type of samurai that most people don't even know exists, the half samurai, you could be a samurai or a member of the Bushi class even more so without having a surname. You wouldn't be an important one, you wouldn't be a famous one, but it is absolutely a possibility. In fact, a lot of like low-ranking and half samurai, they were mostly relying on their clan. That's why a lot of low-ranking warriors in Ashigaru and again samurai, but only the low-ranking ones, would have the symbol of the clan on their chest, because they don't have their own. Instead, you don't really see that. You don't really see like just Takeda on the chest of very important people unless it is their surname, but you will see that they will have other personalized symbolisms because they can afford them. So once again, when we look at this concept of surnames in feudal Japan, the situation is more complex than how it has been portrayed by some people. As one last element, I would like to mention this idea now that is being brought forward, that apparently Ubisoft has announced that both.
So I think, so we're getting the idea, right? We're getting the idea. So it's like, again, you have different people saying different things, right? And I think I like the fact that from what I've seen, I can say I'm not one of the people to say, okay, Yasuke was in fact a samurai. Given all that has come to light now, right? I'm not one of the people to say he was definitely a samurai and there's no way, there's no disputing that, etc. And so I'm not saying that. But from what I've seen, both from Japanese people and also this guy as well, and different things I've seen, is that the evidence are there. You can find the evidence. All of us can find it. And if you can't read Japanese, we can translate it. And then you can see, okay, all right. And it's just the way you want to read it based on the things that they knew at that time. But again, no one can say, and I'm glad that even critics are saying, we cannot say that he was not a samurai. We also can't say that he was. And I think that's the position. Because again, it's so easy to spot a bias. You get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? It's so easy to spot a bias because when you see it, you just, okay, I know, okay, you don't want it to be true. That's why you're saying this. And it's not even just about this situation with Yasuke. It's about everything. Right, but let's just continue. I want to watch the whole thing. Let's just finish this video.
Yasuke and the assassin Kunoichi female protagonist will be members of the LGBTQ. They will be LGBTQ+. As always, I find it silly when people use modern terminology, including LGBTQ, when discussing history, because, of course, the LGBTQ movement didn't exist. But that's just me being a little bit, pedantic when it comes to the nomenclature. But the idea of, but was Yasuke gay, is actually something that has been asked before, but there is no evidence. The reason why people are bringing it forward, including in some romanticized versions, is simply because what we know from the sources is that Oda Nobunaga enjoyed lengthy conversations with him. So it is possible that they actually became friends. We don't know for sure that they became friends, by the way, but it is very likely. It's possible that they became friends in a way. And yes, they spent long times maybe drinking sake and talking. But that's it. So there is no evidence whatsoever that they were lovers. And I think the people that are looking into that, they're looking a bit too deeply and kind of want it to happen. Now, is it okay to make it happen if you're creating a fictionalized version of this? Well, I suppose you're not breaking any law, so I'm not against it. But I think it's silly if then you try and push it as historical. I don't know if that's what they're doing, though. So before attacking them, I'm just going to wait. I've seen the announcement. I'm just going to see what they say. If they say that's their own interpretation, but they do underline this is fiction, fine. Not a problem. But if they do instead say, no, this is history, then I will be debunking them once again. And I'm thinking of making, in fact, a video episode specifically on how homosexuality and same-sex relationship occurred historically in feudal Japan and how things changed depending on what era we're talking about. But I will perhaps tackle that on a dedicated video. As always, my suggestion is, regardless of the culture war, always try to keep a mind that is open to what the sources say. Was he samurai? We don't know. Was he not samurai? We don't know. Is it possible that he was a samurai? Yes. Is it probable? No. And this is, in my opinion, the only intellectually honest position that one may have about this character. Now, with that being said,
right. So again, so that's pretty much it. That's what he shared, and maybe I could just show you guys a little piece of this video here. Where is it? This one. Again, it's in German, I believe.
Zum Thema Yasuke, das in Zusammenarbeit mit einem Autor entstanden ist. Das war sehr unterhaltsam, gut geschrieben. Dieses Buch wird als Quelle von zahlreichen Yasuke.
Yeah, the book was well written, right? Like the book, this book, it was actually a really very, very entertaining book, and I would really appreciate a movie, right? But again, with all this controversy, who knows what's going to happen, right? If a movie is gonna, if they're gonna release a movie or not. Thomas said they were working on. Some people were working on some movies. I'm not sure what. That was 5 years ago. Of course, Chadwick died and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what will happen. But based on what I see with the trailer, man, it would be amazing if a movie came out. But with the pushback and the backlash, who knows, right? So the thing about this video here, the one that you're seeing, he went through, he showed like the documents, right, and different things, but there were moments where the same thing, you could see where, again, when it comes on to like an assumption based on the data and what you want to be true, you can see that he interpreted some of the things that were sort of like ambiguous or weren't very clear a certain way, and then you also saw where other people interpreted the same thing again another way. So I think it's fair to say the conclusion is essentially is it really depends on, again, as I've said time and time again, what you want to be true based on the evidence. And I think he showed all the sources, and I did take a screenshot, I think, of all the sources where Yasuke was referenced in the historical documents. I think he showed all of them, right? And again, it really depends. So you can listen to, it's funny because almost every person does the same thing. And if you're not conscious about it and you're not trying to be open-minded or neutral, you lean one way or the other, right? And you have to be conscious about it and say, okay, like, what am I trying to accomplish, right? So I see where he laid out, it was a very good video. The video with, what's the name of the channel? This one here. Wait, you guys can't see it. Really good video, right? Like he shared like a lot of things. But again, when it comes on to the things that you weren't 100% sure, he leaned toward, okay, well, that's not the case because. And then someone else who said they're neutral would lean to the case, would say, well, we're not sure. This is also a possibility. This also means this. They go a little bit deeper. And it's just one of those things. It's like when you're trying to search for something or you want to establish something, once you see things that to you confirm what you want to be true, you kind of don't go any deeper, right? But you're not invested in it. But someone else, right, that might be a little bit more unbiased would go a little bit deeper and say, well, what about this? Did you consider this? It's almost like a little bit when it comes down to like the Bible. It's like someone might quote like a verse and stop, right? They might be quoting from like a chapter and might stop at a certain verse because the next part of the verse doesn't really support what they want to put forth. So they stop right there, right? But someone else who wants the truth and the fullness might go a little bit deeper and say, okay, well, this is also, true. And this is also something to consider. But we understand. So I think essentially, look, again, people are very upset. Okay, so even me just doing this live stream, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get like a ton of hate just to even be saying this. But my position again, and the conclusion for me is simply based on what I've seen on both sides of the divide. Even talking with Thomas and all the different things, is that again based on information, Yasuke existed. Yes, he was honored. Yes, he was. And again, based on what they're saying, all the different experts and the people that looked into this, they can't say that he was a samurai or he was not a samurai, right? But they can say he got a stipend, he got this, he was with Nobunaga, he did all these different things. But they're saying, well, the last name thing and this thing and that thing, so maybe he didn't, but no one can say for sure. But we know that Yasuke existed, right? And my thing is the outrage, and I don't think I understand the importance of representation and getting things accurate and all these things, because as a black person, of course, come on, like, you know, this is our life. You know, it's been our life. You know what I'm saying? And when we try to talk about certain things like that, people don't care about it. But when it comes to your doorstep, it's a different thing. And again, because we're all human, so we have similar feelings, despite the fact that people don't want to acknowledge that and think that black people are just somehow different from everybody else in the world in terms of like we're you know, our humanity. But again, so I think it goes deeper, and I think that's why people are so vicious. Because a black man could never be, you know, a black man. And again, so so that's the thing that, as I said earlier, we're fighting against this thing, and we live through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are watching this right now that aren't even black. And I'm saying you're watching this right now, and there are certain experiences that we go through that you will never understand. And there are certain things that you go through that I will never understand. And it's true. You know what I'm saying? You know, I have a wife. I'll never understand exactly what her experience is as my wife or as a woman, right? I won't ever get the fullness. She can communicate to me and I can try my best to understand. But as it relates to walking, and the very first thing is, for you to even understand, you have to even love the person deep enough or care about that individual deep enough to actually listen to what they're actually saying and try to remove the filter of what you've been taught before you can actually hear them. So when we go on the street where you know, to us, we feel like normal, like everybody else. And we go outside and we're walking and we think it's fine. You know, we're doing things. And sometimes, you know, you go into a store, you got to be a little bit more careful because, you know, you have an understanding or a level of awareness of the perception sometimes. So you try to be a little bit more careful, let people know, okay, I'm not here to do anything wrong. And, you know, you try to do all these things that other people don't have to deal with. So the experience is so different, the things that we carry. So because, again, it's not about the fact that, okay, they got some of these things wrong and some of these things and this thing is not exactly the way it is. And it's because how dare they show a black samurai character in feudal Japan? Are you crazy? That's what it's about. That's it. That's all it's about. That's it. That's the reason why it has blown up so much. And so I wanted to talk about that. And I gave you guys my take and my position because, you know, some people are saying, well, you haven't come out, you haven't said anything, you haven't done all these things. But that's my position, again, based on the evidence. They can't say he isn't or he is. So what we're going to say, because we don't want it to be true, we're going to say, nah, there's no way because X, Y, and Z. And if we also say he was definitively, then also we're being dishonest as well based on the data, based on the information. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be this crazy thing that, oh my gosh, you know, in my mind, I'm saying it's not even changing history. It's not even anything like that. It's just like, look, in my mind, it's simply this. This man lived at a certain time in history in Japan. He spent about 15 months in Japan. I've been here for 8 years. And if I leave, then it's like, okay, well, I was here for 8 years. And if someone in the future says, I'm just giving you a hypothetical, that probably won't happen or whatever. But it's like, okay, no, okay, well, yeah, Ranzo lived in Japan you know, for 8 years, and you know, and you just make a record of it and some of the things that I've done here, and that's it. And it's like, okay, so if someone wants to make a movie about that, or anime, or a game, or whatever, I'm like, okay, like they're just talking about a person that was at a certain point in history. What's the problem with that? You know, that's just what I'm thinking. It's like, this happened. You know, it's not saying, okay, I'm gonna make this person, okay, now like change like Nobunaga into like a black man or something, or something like that, where saying, no, that's not what happened, or that's not what it is. So I don't see what the big deal is, but of course I get it. It's just like, no, you know, it's like, no, he can't be black. No way. I refuse to believe that. There's no way. So some people are coming with that, and some people are coming with something else, right? Not everyone that's coming at it and are against it are racist. I'm not saying that, you know, but a lot of people are coming with that perception, that thing in their heart. But Yasuke existed. Okay, cool. All right. All right. And if black people want to, like, you know, write about it and make a video about it, I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like when you have anything, any event in the world, if you are an American and you say American, they're like, oh, hey, go, you know, like, because you're cheering for your fellow countryman, right? Of course, there's maybe like 19 or 100 more people there, but again, you just identify with that person because he's an American, or he's a Canadian, or he's a Japanese, or he's a Chinese, or whatever it is, right? And that's fine. So if someone wanted to make a story about just that Japanese man there out of the 109 people, that's cool. I don't see the problem with it, right? So I feel like, again, it's a game, you know, but I get it. But I think the outrage is not just because they think there's some inaccuracies or certain things out. They're not sure. Okay, this is not the way that this should have been, and the score shouldn't be this way, and that shouldn't be that way. And you took this flag from these people and all these things or whatever. That's not what it is. It's a mere fact that he's black. That's it. That's it. You know, again, I'm not coming out with a victim mentality or mindset. The only reason I'm doing this video is because, again, I saw all the comments. I'm like, okay, I gotta like just put something out there, because notification. I'm like, okay, what's happening? I ignored it for like 2 weeks, I think. Right. So let me just see some of the comments here before I jump off. I've been on for 1 hour and 31 minutes. Like, I think that's, let's see. See if is there anything you guys want to. All right, let's see. Someone is saying that it has nothing to do with black people on the development. No, wait, someone said nothing to do with black people. They said white people put Yasuke as the main character. There's no black people on the development team. So okay, so they're saying, how are they going to tell the story of Yasuke without him being black? So I'm saying, it's like, you know, it's again, it's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be insensitive in the sense of, I understand that, you know, when you walk in someone's shoes, or when you're not in someone's shoes, you don't understand fully what they're experiencing and going through. I get that 100%, right? I get that. But I'm just saying, like I said before, again, based on the evidence, right? Based on the sources, they say what they say. And it is what it is. We can't say he wasn't, and we can't say he was. But we know some historical facts. That's cool. And if I don't think it's that deep. But I think, again, because he's black, you know, people are saying I missed it completely. Someone is saying that. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not what it is. Because I've seen the comments, I've seen a lot of the comments, or I've seen a lot of the comments, and they're racially charged. Of course, that's not everybody, right? Some people said they feel disappointed because they wanted, you know, because it's based in Japan, it should have been a Japanese person. but I don't think that's the reason why. So you're saying someone is saying using misinformation about him. You know, it's man, is that okay, so when people are talking about okay, I see that nickname that the person is writing there. I get it. It's not that deep. As I said before, man, it's a game. You know, it's a game. And I think some people are saying, well, if like they said it was like a complete work of fiction or complete fantasy, then they would have no problem. But because it's almost passing off like it's based on historical facts and stuff like that. But again, it's the fact that samurai black, samurai African. That's what the issue is. That's what the issue is. What else? That's the issue. That's the issue. That's the issue, right? And every single person that had something to do with this thing, you know, they in the comments that went for Thomas, and they went for Ubisoft or Ubisoft. They just went for everyone that had a hand in this thing getting to where it's at. They went for them. Okay, that's what it is. I'm just saying. Yeah, I think I said what I had to say. I think that's it. I don't know. Let me just look at some of the comments before I close out. I just wanted to just put something out there about this, right? So I did a live reaction, of course, raw, and just kind of just went at it and just shared my thoughts, how I feel, how people are. And again, people are people. And the same way, I get it, the same way that the Japanese people feel right now, or anybody feel about it that are against what came out. It's just the same way humans feel about everything, right? But again, it's just the way it is. It's double standard is something that runs the world. It's everywhere, right? It's everywhere. No one says anything until it has to do with them. If we are affected, then it's like, man, okay, then we understand. You know, that's just what it is. So I'm just saying, I don't think it's that big of a deal. It seems like politicians are getting involved, and so many people are outraged, and it's like, oh my gosh, how dare they? And again, when you watch a breakdown video of people, I'm not pitting any ethnic group against anybody. Okay, I'm not doing that at all. I'm just saying the mindset with a certain percentage of people, right, on either side. There was a certain way that they deal with things, and I'm just like, man, like, bro, it's not that big of a deal. Like, Yasuke existed. You know, first of all, people, they would say, okay, they would acknowledge that, okay, he existed. We can't say anything about that, but they would say he's just a slave. He was a slave. He was a luggage carrier. That's it. And it was almost like the way that they say it is as if it's not even possible that come on, he's a slave. That's it. He's a simple slave, a simple servant. There's no way. Oh man. So I just wanted to talk about that, because that was something that was on my mind. Because again, we have to combat so many things, and I was thinking to myself, man, it's 2024, and bro, media is powerful. Okay, media is powerful. So the way that people perceive us still in 2024 has to do with not a first-hand experience, but what you've read, what you've heard, some of what you've seen, and you just blanket an entire group of people based on what you've seen. And then we have to, especially myself sometimes, you know, like usually it's very passive. But again, as I said, people oftentimes a lot grab their bags when they see me, and I just shake my head. Sometimes I laugh. I'm just like, wow, like it happens a lot. My wife, not so much, but I guess because I'm a big black guy or something, I don't know. But it happens a lot, and I'm just like, man, I'm like, really? I'm like, oh, I like, it doesn't matter where I'm at, Tokyo or Kanagawa, or, you know, it doesn't matter where I go, you know what I'm saying? Like anywhere in Japan, Ishikawa, it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? Osaka, wherever, it doesn't matter, you name it. I'm just like, what is happening? You know? and they don't know me, but they see my color and whatever you think a black person represents. You just see that. You don't hear me when I speak. You don't hear my words. You're just hearing what you want to hear. You don't see what's actually there. You see what you want to see. So I think our skin represents a trigger feature to people. They see it and they're afraid, they're frightened. They see it. They get certain feelings and stuff that we don't even understand because we aren't them, right? And it's like, man, you don't even know me. But that's the reality. So I think all that's happening, the fuel, right? Even if people are opposed to it, the fuel behind the outrage is coming from that place. That adds so much more to the outrage. It adds so much more to it because we have so many other things that has gone the other way. And I can't say there wasn't any outrage whatsoever, but anytime it has something to do with black people, it's worse. And I'm just like, man, it's crazy. It's just the way the world is. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons why I'm just like, you know what, man, I just want to talk about this part because it's just the way the world is. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy when you walk as a black person to most people that have never encountered a black person or someone that has a certain view, you have to contend with that view so much. And I think that's one of the reasons why some people get, you know, killed in America and other places, because they see you and because they have this thing in their mind and it's so strong. When they see you, they don't see you as a person. They see the stereotype. And if you grab your wallet or your ID, they think it's something else. But if it's somebody else that's not black, that same reaction doesn't happen. Isn't that something? So you're not seeing the person, then you're not seeing me. You're seeing the stereotype. You're seeing all these things. When I'm talking to you and say, oh, I never did it. You're not even hearing my words that I never did it. Like in your mind, it's so seared in. You're like, no, this person is guilty. This person did it. Even I'm saying, I never did it. I wasn't even there. I was at my house. I just came out. But they're not even hearing that. It's so deep in some people's mind. Again, I'm not generalizing in some people's minds. So you're saying, I never did it. You're innocent. But they're not seeing it. Everything you're saying, they're looking for like something, a crack. No, I don't believe this. You're guilty. You're guilty. You're guilty. It's crazy, bro. 2024, bro. It's still there, bro. People still grab their bags. People still walk fast when they see you coming. People still run across the street. People still think, you're a thief and all these things. People still think all these things in 2024, bro. It's crazy, eh? And I don't think it's ever going to stop. I literally think it's not going to stop until the Lord return, until the Lord come back for the world, until the world ends. I think this will be the way it will be until the end of time. And maybe if there's a great catastrophe or something on the earth, which I believe is coming in the near future, I think maybe that's the time when everybody or most people might band together. Maybe, hopefully, not sure. But we'll see. This outrage over a video game about a character, a man that lived before, and it's a video game. It's like anime. We watch anime. We see all sorts of things in anime. If it wasn't for anime, I wouldn't be in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a lover of anime. I'm not a gamer, but but I like anime, right? And that's what got me interested in Japan, and that's why I'm here now. 8 years, August this year, right? So it's like, man, like, bro, it's a video game. And the outrage is not even, you can't even identify it, because sometimes some people are saying it's not because he's black or it's not because of this or that. Sometimes when someone does something really racist to you, sometimes they don't even know that it's racist. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to tell them. So people might even examine themselves and say, there's nothing wrong with that. But you're just like, bro, nah, dude, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Because So there are people who are also oblivious. Which animes are your favorite? Quite a few, actually. Do you think some Japanese who are upset about this take it out on some black people in Japan? I don't know. I don't know. You know what? People. Oh yeah, I don't know. It really depends. Maybe some people are going kind of hard, but I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe some extreme. But I don't think that a Japanese person will do anything. So someone says it's not a race thing; it's a fact thing. We kind of went over like we kind of spoke about that earlier. We went to a video that spoke about the records again and again. I guess I said what I had to say. So I can't really go too deep into that. And you realize even when it comes down to scholars and experts, just like back in the day, bro, when even scientists wrote things about black people, said things about black people and they're scientists, okay, they're scientists. But again, because of the time, because of their belief system, they wrote things that weren't true, and they were educated scientists. So you realize that bias runs through everything in life, unless you make an effort as a person to make sure that you are as unbiased as possible. So even sometimes you're saying, okay, this is my bent. I'm kind of like leaning towards this side, but you kind of question yourself and look at other things as well. Anyways, I know that I'm not going to change anyone's mind, but I wanted to come on because, again, a gazillion comments, okay, like, so too many. I had to say something, so that's why I'm doing this video. Someone said, amen, the world is in a fallen state and it will be like this until Jesus returns. I think so. Any other comments, any other questions? Let's just see. I'm wrapping up. I wish people realize getting crazy over a fictional piece, entertainment loosely based on a little history. Yeah, man, it's crazy. I was just like, look, the comments are the comments are something else. You know, it is silly. Okay, it is silly. It is. But you know what? At the same time, let me end with this. So I am a Jamaican, right? I grew up in Jamaica, right? And let's just say, because this is the thing that some people can't do, I'm gonna do it now. I understand. Let's say we have a history in Jamaica, right? And like, let's say the country was run a certain way, and there might have been a foreigner there, right? Because a lot of people, I watched a video recently about in Spain that they wanted to eject the foreigners, right? They're saying no more tourists, and they're saying all these things about tourists, and people were like squirting water guns at the tourists and stuff like that, and just saying stuff about tourists, which are still people. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I'm just like, you're talking about actual humans. You know, I'm like, they're people as well. But so when it comes down to foreigners, generally speaking, it seems like pretty much most, I think maybe most, if not all countries in the world have this thing. Canada is a little bit, but now when you kind of maybe ask certain Canadians, they might think they're overdoing immigration and stuff like that. So some people kind of, have different opinions now, but it's like most countries, like you would, if you're doing something, you would rather your countryman be in a certain position, right? So you say, okay, so in certain roles, you want someone that looks like you, or at least someone that has the same nationality, right? Your countryman to be in that position. So most countries have that thing. We understand that, right? So let's say we're in Jamaica, and then something like that happened. We had some historical event, and then there's like a character that came out, and this let's say piece of art has to do with the country that I'm from. And then the protagonist is not Jamaican, like he's some other protagonist or whatever. And then there's like one character, maybe like a Jamaican lady, and then the foreigner, and you're like even a man, you're like a Jamaican man, you're like, yo, like, why is that? Like, why is that person not a Jamaican? I don't get it. What's the point? Like, so I understand that you might feel some type of way, 100%. So I get that 100%. I get that you're gonna feel some type of way, because you're saying, if this is representing my country, why is it like this, right? And then maybe you might you're gonna be way more critical, right? You're gonna be way more critical, and you're gonna lean toward every single argument that's against that person being in that position. It's just the way it is, unless you really are open-minded, right? Unless you can really be impartial, unless you can really be unbiased and look at it as it relates to, like, in business sense, and just look at it like, okay, like, you know what, people just do all sorts of things when it comes on to like games and whatever, and you just look at it like a piece of art and leave it at that. It's going to be very, very hard for you to do that. So I understand that most people, most Japanese people, most people that love Japanese culture, and those the segment of that group that's anti-black will definitely take a certain look, right? Take a certain view, take a certain position. So I get that. But I feel like, because the question then becomes, okay, like, who is this person? It's a game. Is it? And a game can take any angle whatsoever. You get what I'm saying? So when you look a little bit deeper, like, it's a game. Okay, if they want to follow the story of Yasuke for whatever reason, maybe they think it's going to sell more, or it's more interesting, or whatever. I don't know. It's a game. You know what I'm saying? It's a game, right? If they want to do that, was this person real? Okay, he was real, but he wasn't a samurai. He wasn't a samurai. I don't want him to be a samurai. Okay, what does the evidence say? Okay, look at it. All right, this is people are saying this, and I believe this to be true because it's what I want to be true, and I support this position. But what about the other side of the aisle? Where can you say, okay, I can't say for sure that he was a samurai, and I can't say for sure that he wasn't? Can you say that and feel comfortable in yourself because the sources and evidence say that? Or you're going to feel like, nah, because you want him not to be, you're going to push and push and push and push and push and push, and find a problem with every single thing because you just hate the guts of the people. You just hate the guts of the people that did this. I get it. So I think, but I feel like I get the pushback because you feel like you should represent your country and you want to see someone that looks like you. I get that part. But as far as the things they're saying about Yasuke, as if like, okay, nah, bro, like, I'm just like, nah, I think that's fueled by beyond just that normal feeling because you want to see someone that looks like you. I think is fueled by the fact that he's black and they're so repulsed by the idea like this could never be the case, because this is who black people are. There's no way that a black person could come in our society and do this. There's no way. I'm okay with the fact that he's a slave, and I'm pushing that to the fore. This is who he is. This is who he is. This is who he is. I don't care. He was a slave. That's what I have a problem with. As if it's impossible. As if there's no way on earth this could happen. Because in their mind, they would never do something like that. They would never do it. They could never do something like that. They could never accept something like that. So no way, no shape, no way, nah. So I think that's kind of like, that's my thing. So I understand it to a certain level, but to a certain extent, but the depth to which it has gone is way beyond the fact that there's a foreigner person as a protagonist of this, given that there's still, like, of course, a Japanese character there as well that's also a protagonist, right? But I want to say something else, but I won't say it. Look, the game looks cool. Okay, as far as the game, again, I'm not a gamer, right? So if y'all are gamers, you can say, but yo, that trailer looks like fire. Okay, the trailer is really, really well made. If they made a movie like that, an animated feature with that quality, I would watch it. If they made a film, a movie, I would watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like a live action or whatever, like I would definitely watch it. But I don't know now. Like, you know, we were looking forward to it years ago. Right now, based on what's happening, I don't know what's gonna happen, right? But I can tell you, if they did that, that movie would do numbers. It would do numbers 100%. And I think just for the fun of it, if the game comes out, right, I think I'll give it a quick run, maybe give it 30 minutes. That's it. I'm not really a gamer, and I don't want to spend too much time playing games and stuff like that. So, but I look at it, right? So, yeah, it looks good though. Yeah, someone said they're just laughing at adults crying over a video game. It's so funny to me. Yeah, someone said the problem is that Yasuke would be the first protagonist in a series that is non-local, non-fictional, non-assassin. Yasuke gone rogue and became ninja would have made more sense. I see. So you're saying it's a departure from what they did previously, right? And look, even if I don't even know. Yeah, man, there's no way to look at it. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I think I shared all I want to share, but I haven't been live with you guys for a long time, and it's been 5 months, and I'm not back. Okay, just so y'all know, I'm not back. Okay, I just wanted to come on and share about this, right? Because again, you just do a video, you do an interview, and it's on the internet, and then you just years later you start seeing all these comments and stuff, and you're like, what's happening? I'm like, I was thinking, I'm like, what? I'm like, what could possibly be happening? You know, I wasn't even sure. I'm like, okay, I don't know, maybe there's some video out there or something, and lo and behold, yeah. And someone said they apologized, like Ubisoft apologized for it. They never apologized for it. Actually, this is what it said. Just to show you like a misinformation. This is what it says. And again, I don't know. Again, I'm not a gamer, so yeah, I'm not talking like I know Ubisoft. I can't even pronounce the word. Is it Ubisoft or Ubisoft? Just to show you, right? So I looked it up, and it was like they were apologizing for. This is what it says. It says Ubisoft has apologized after using a Japanese historical reenactment group's flag in concept art for Assassin's Creed Shadows without permission. So they're not apologizing that, you know, they put Yasuke as the protagonist. They're apologizing because unless they apologize for additional things, I'm not sure. But this is saying they're apologizing for the use of a flag, right, that someone else owns, pretty much. But that's pretty much it. So I guess I'll just keep watching this story and see how it develops. But it's quite sad though that it's quite sad that we this is what's happening right now. People are saying it's about this, is about that. It's about, bro, it's about Yasuke. That's it. That's the problem. That's it. And Yasuke being a samurai. That's a big issue. Yasuke being a samurai. That's it. Yasuke being a samurai. A black man being a samurai. An African being a samurai. That's what it is. That's the problem. That's what it is. You know, we can try to point at something else and try to say something else because we don't want to say what it is, but that's what it is, right? And someone said they're gonna, I know that, all these things. Yep. Oh, someone said actually they said they're gonna make him that, right? So someone said UBI is blamed because they claimed historical accuracy. Okay, I get it. It's not that far off, though. It's not that far off. Based on the data, again, he could be and he could not be. So I'm like, if someone said he was an outright slave, and that's it, that would be wrong based on what the experts said or what the literature said or the sources said. That would be wrong to say, okay, that's it. That's all he was, because it's a lie. And if someone says he was a samurai, okay, I'm like, okay, it seems possible. But again, the idea that someone would run with that is offensive to a lot of people. And I think that's what it is. I get it. You know, we'll try to say this and we'll try to say that, but that's the thing. And if someone said, okay, you know what, we want someone that represents our country, if that was an argument, and it's just like we want someone that represents our country, and then just that alone, okay? You don't talk about his race, don't talk about none of these other things and racial attacks and stuff, then that's fine. I get that part. But the moment you start talking about the fact that this and that and all these things, that's a problem. You just say, okay, we want someone that represents the local populace. We want someone that is a native Japanese. Cool, that's fine. But when you start talking about the fact that you're talking that he wasn't, that's where it becomes quite racist, right? Look, I saw some videos I was watching, I was cringing and watching the videos. I'm like, okay, yep, he's gonna go there. Yep, I'm not surprised. Okay, they use that word. Okay, all right. The comments, yep. We just know what they're gonna say. So I think as a black person, you understand, and I think that's what it is. But I also get the fact that you want someone to look like the native populace, right? I get that too. If that's the case, fine. But if you're going to push and talk about the fact that he wasn't this and it wasn't that because you don't want it to be true, and you don't like the fact that you don't think a black person could do anything, anything beyond just being subservient and being a slave and being all the negative stereotypes, you have a lot to learn, man. So I think that's pretty much it. I'll just go hang out with you guys for a little bit and maybe just talk about something else for a second, and then before I leave, I don't want to just leave it like this. And because one, again, I just want you guys to know I'm not a victim. Okay, I'm not a victim at all. We as Black people, we live a certain way. We have a certain experience. I mean, and we just have to live with it. That's what it is, right? It doesn't matter if you are not a bad person or not. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, some people don't care, and they don't give you the time to learn about you, and you got to deal with those people, you know. And then there are people who are amazing, right? And you talk with them and they give you the time of day, and you know, you can get to know each other and all these things, and it's cool, right? But we live a certain life where, you know, you go to a different country, you got to be worried about things that some people probably won't even think about. You deal with things that some people probably won't have to deal with ever. And it's just the way it is, right? We just live. You know what I'm saying? We just still live. We still travel. We still follow our dreams. We still, you know, serve our Lord. We still just do whatever. You know what I'm saying? We just still live. So it's just the way it is. We've been here for a very long time. Despite all that has happened, we're still walking about, living life, following our dreams, and just doing things, you know. And that's just the experience. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes on to certain things, people think you can't do certain things. People think you should be a certain way. And if you kind of depart from the sort of stereotype on where they believe you should be, it's a problem, and they're confused and they can't understand it. And they try to pull you back to where they believe is your place. Right. So that's a reality. You know what I'm saying? That's a reality. And unfortunately, even us as Black people, sometimes, you know, we might see something that doesn't look like the norm. Like, okay, well, usually, oh, wow, a Black person is actually here. Oh, wow, I've never seen. And that's one of the reasons why sometimes we do these videos and interviews and we talk about, oh, wow, there's a Black person doing this, you know, because again, just the way it's been, you know, like we're usually not in certain places and certain things. And sometimes not because we're not qualified, not because we are incapable, but because of just the way it's structured, and just the perception of people that sort of like prevents us from doing certain things, or make it more challenging for us to get to a certain position or place. So even though you're qualified, even though you have the same skill, even though you can do it, when someone sees you, they're not seeing, oh, hey, Roy, hey, Anthony. No, they're not seeing that. They're seeing, again, the stereotype. And then you got to work through all that and say, hey, you know, after you work through all that, you say, hey, here am I. I'm Anthony, not the stereotype. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Someone said I missed the point. So I want okay, so game dot, right? Game mode dot. Tell me, what's the point? You said I missed the point. Just tell me, what's the point? And be honest, please. Just be honest. Just be honest. Just tell me the truth. What's the, like? What is it? What's the problem? Someone said, are you still in contact with Thomas Lockley? Many people are lambasting him as a fraud. It would be cool if he made a remark on the controversy. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. Honestly, I'm not the type of person that's usually like in drama and controversy. Like I usually like stay away from stuff like this. But because again, I never even knew that my video was like part of my interview was used on this channel or whatever. But when I saw, I'm like, oh wow, I'm like, you know, like I never knew that. So I was just watching different things and I saw that they kind of, and I think that's why people were just messaging and just commenting rather. I don't think I received any messages. But all the comments on the videos and people are kind of like talking about me too and stuff. And I'm just like, bro, it's simply, I just did the interview. Like, of course, before now, and even still, people are fascinated by the fact that you had a black samurai. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like a very interesting thing, a colorful story, right? And it's, again, he was, Yasuke was in Japan, and whether or not he was an actual samurai, again, as we see, it can be, we can't say he was definitively, or we can't say he wasn't. So yeah, I did the interview and it was cool, you know. But again, when you see what people say the words they use, the way they get angry, how angry they are. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, what is this? Are you guys for real? Oh man, that's crazy. Did the person respond? I'm waiting for a game dot. Let's see. Yeah. Someone even said, and even someone said, I used to look at articles of historical Black people, and the comments were full of people trying to disprove it. It makes me sad. This Yasuke nonsense is the same thing. Yeah, bro. It's true, man. It's like, yeah, it's just what it is. Someone said we are worried about false Japanese history spreading again. What? Okay, what's false though? What's false in the sense of he was like, based on the sources, right? So I'm talking to a hot guy. Based on the sources, they can't say that he wasn't a samurai, and they can't say he was a samurai definitively. So what about it is false Japanese history? Yasuke lived. He was an actual person. The question now is, people are saying he was just a slave, a little simple slave, that's it, an animal. And then, so that's one camp. And then people are saying, so it's about who he was, his position or status. That's the thing that's up for debate. Obviously, that's it. That's all it is. Because it's established that he was a person that lived in Japan. Okay, so we've established that. So what's the argument now then? Either he was just a slave or he was possibly a samurai. We can't say for sure if he was a samurai or not, but we know that Nobunaga took a liking to him. He was honored. All these different things. That's what it is. So when someone says false history, I'm like, it's not even like, I'm like, what is, that's it, that's it. So I'm like, in terms of like what false history is being spread, and like right now the thing is, at the very least, if anyone is being neutral and being objective, they can simply look at the data and say the same thing. Again, that's what it is. That's it. So I don't think it's anything big to say, okay, well, we're saying, let's say the first prime minister of Japan or the first emperor of Japan or the shogun or whoever was this or that. We're not changing someone's identity and saying, okay, this person wasn't this person or that person, replacing like a portion of history. That's not what's happening here at all. Yes. Okay, someone is saying exactly. People are taking a somewhat unclear part of history and using that uncertainty to launch an all-out assault on Yasuke's dignity. So what I'm saying is that's what it is. It's like someone said that is happening. Okay, so again, I'm just talking about Yasuke. That's it. You know what I'm saying? This whole video is about Yasuke, right? That's what it is, and it's that simple. You know what I'm saying? Thomas claims that there are 6,000 Africans in the feudal Japan and Japanese are hiding it. Okay. I guess the question is, and I can't speak to this, I haven't read anything on it, but if Yasuke was brought to Japan, it's possible that there might have been other foreign people there. There were Portuguese missionaries, right? So there may have been, I can't say how many, and I can't say if there were more, but I'm just like, I think it's very possible to think that there were other foreigners in Japan at that time that were brought even to Japan, whether it's temporarily or whatever. But I'm just saying, if he came, But we're talking about Yasuke here. We're talking about Yasuke here. And again, so I think this is the thing, right? This is the thing. It's very, 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 very simple. Because if someone is saying something, right? Okay, anyone can say anything. But then when you bring the sources and you say, okay, this is what evidence say, then that should end all arguments, right? If it's a matter of, so for me, I think the argument is over. I think it's pretty much done at this point. Because again, it's simply this. You can make, you can say something, right? You can say, okay, you know what, share your opinion. You can say, okay, this is a case or that's the case. Anyone can make a statement and that's fine, right? But then you say, okay, no, that's not the case, right? Why is that not the case? Then you go to the documents and say, okay, this is what it says here. And this is all we have on record. Okay. And then you can look at the facts and say, okay, these are the facts. Okay, cool. Facts are established. But then when it comes down to assumption, then you can assume A and someone else can assume B. And someone might say, well, it's more likely that it's A, or someone might say it's more likely that it's B, but still both y'all are assuming. So I think it's fine. Like, I think it's fair to say, okay, you can assume B or you can assume A, but we know that both of these two things are positions, are assumptions, but these are the facts. And I think that's cool. So if someone is trying to falsify, you can simply go to the source, look at it and see what it says. And say, like, this is what it says. And that's end of story. That's it. I don't even think it needs to go beyond that. Why is it going even beyond that? So I don't think it's such a big deal. It's not. The documents are there. People can go and read it, translate it, and say, okay, this is what it says. Okay, Yasuke was there. Okay, it's close to Nobunaga. Okay, you got a sword. You got this. Okay, cool. All right. Could be a samurai. I don't think he was a samurai. Okay, cool. That's your position. I think he was. Okay, that's your position. All right. Can we just leave it there and just move on? And if you want to make a story about it, fine. Okay. Just so that people know, okay, it's a work of fiction or this part and thing, and it's cool. Make a movie. I want to see a movie though. Am I wrong? Is it bad that I want to see a movie? For my Japanese viewers that's watching, is it bad that I want to see a movie? I want to ask someone, is it bad that I want to see a movie? Is it bad that I want to see a Yasuke movie? Can someone please answer? Because I really I want to see a Yasuke movie. Okay. Bushida Brown said, Runs, it makes these people feel better about themselves. Oh man. I want to see a movie. Yeah, it's someone is saying racists are just constructing a false narrative using historical accuracy as plausible deniability to diminish any accomplishment Yasuke might have achieved in his life. So in a sense, we could also say that some people are trying to erase Yasuke from history. We could say that some people are trying to erase some of what Yasuke has done from history. And then someone might say, why do we care so much? Like, why should a black person care at all about that there was a person by the name of Yasuke hundreds of years ago? Why should we care, right? Someone could say that. And I could just say, look, if the man lived, let the man live, let the man live. You know what I'm saying? If he lived, he lived. Why do you want to try to erase the man from history and his contribution? Why? That's what I would say. So yeah, okay. Why are we so obsessed if someone want to say that, or someone say, like, why do you care at all about Yasuke? It's Japan, it's not Africa, it's not, some other country, it's not where was it, Mozambique or South Sudan, it's not, America, it's not Canada, it's not France, it's not this country, it's not that country. Yeah, but if the man live, the man live. Man. I just feel like if people could remove his name from history, they would. Just because it's like a blot or a stain that people don't want to acknowledge. And it's a shame, though. It's a shame, man. Someone said a period where Africans were a commodity being traded and given the bare minimum to live, and individuals are stuck on titles, not astonished by the act of a daimyo bestowing such on Yasuke is crazy. Yeah, man, it's let's see the development. Hopefully they get to put this to rest really quickly, and I would want to see a movie still. You know, I want to see a movie, but honestly I don't even know. It would be so cool, bro. It would be so cool. Like honestly, like it would be so cool. But I can see how, and again, I'm not talking about. I just want you guys to know I'm just talking about Yasuke. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about anything else. That, yeah, I'm just talking about that, right? So don't try to take my position on this and just apply to anything else. I'm talking specifically about Yasuke. And it's so funny because I do these live streams on my next channel, and it's like I usually pray to close a video, and I'm like, oh, I just feel like even just to pray to close this video too, because it's just like, yo, man, this is crazy. So I just say, Father, just thank you, Lord God, for just who you are. And Lord, there's these things in life, Father, are sometimes so insignificant, the things that we argue about and we complain about when there are real issues in life. And Lord, we don't even know the right things to be mad about and angry about. We don't even know how to love our neighbor as ourselves. We don't know to treat each other as we would like to be treated. Oh Lord, so many of us, Abba Father, have double standards and are hypocrites, and I've been guilty. Have mercy, Lord God, upon just everybody that will see this live stream. And Lord, bring peace and reconciliation. You know the truth, oh God. And again, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. If he was fully a samurai or not, it's honestly, in the year 2024, we need more love. We need more peace. We need more understanding. We've forgotten how to love one another, Lord. We have truly, it seems like we have forgotten. But have mercy upon us and cause us to see the truth. And that the most important thing in this life, as you've shown me, is to serve you and to live for you. Bless the people, all of them, oh God. And have mercy upon us all in Jesus' name. Amen. You know, I had to pray because I'm so used to praying at the end of my live streams. And, I think, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't done many videos on this channel, because some of you guys, just to top it off, I'm over 2 hours. But anyways, it's because I've kind of shifted my focus, like when I look at different things, and we have different positions. And of course, I shared earlier about, being a Black person in Japan and things we go through. And even now I still experience certain things. And you might think to yourself, like, man, wow, you can try to ignore it. It happens. But I realize that there's more important things in terms of like eternal significance, things of eternal significance. And I try to shift my focus because it wasn't my decision really. The Lord just spoke to me, and I just decided I kind of just went in a certain direction. But again, there's so many things in life, and I know people believe different things, and that's fine. But I believe in Jesus Christ, as some of you guys know. And so I kind of I'm in this direction because as I said before, all of us feel things, right? We feel different things. All of us feel love and anger and just different things, right? We feel these things. So I understand, but there is double standard, there's hypocrisy, there's hatred, there's violence, there's so many things in humanity, and we're just seeking the wrong things, fame and prestige and status and class and money and just popularity and all these things, and we pursue those things sometimes at the detriment of other people, by any means necessary. Businesses with unethical practices and just so many things across the world. And it's upsetting, and the thing is, people have been this way since, if we even go back to Yasuke time, feudal Japan, before feudal Japan, way back when, until now. And the human condition is the same thing. We're still fighting. We still hate. It's all these things, right? And I'm just like, man, I'm like, Lord, like, you know, like I was just doing my thing. I was just building my empire, doing my thing, focusing on myself and my family. And then God spoke to me. And of course, I took a different path. And that's why me coming and sharing this, I just wanted to come on and talk about this. I just want people to know I don't have any animosity in my heart toward anybody. I don't have any hatred in my heart toward anybody. I can acknowledge the fact that as a Black person, yes, your experience is different. I can acknowledge that because I've lived it. And it does get annoying sometimes. Again, people, the most common thing that I experience in Japan is people grabbing their bags when I walk by, or, you know, it's annoying. It is, you know, it shouldn't affect me. Like, it's annoying. You know, it's whatever. But I just laugh or shake my head and just, you know, go about my business. But I think everyone that's watching this, I think the most important thing, again, is to think about the transience of life, the brevity of life, the most important thing in life, which is our purpose. Look at the things that are passing away, the things that we can't hold tight late enough, and then make our decisions based on our mortality, that one day we will pass away. And I saw a video where someone was talking about the fact that we are all like earth mates, right? We're living in 2024. You are alive watching this. I'm alive. We're literally sharing the planet at this time. Can I love you? Can you love me? Or we're going to choose to use this finite time to be enemies and quarrel about things that are insignificant. Can we try to make the world a better place? Can we do our part and not just point the finger? So I do my part and you do your part, and together we can actually change the world. And not just be selfish, self-centered, full of hatred and all these things within our hearts. You know, some of the things that we're talking about will never happen. Some of the things we're talking about will never happen. But I just wanted to bring this to the fore before I end this live stream and just say, look, man, there is a God, and a God that loves you, and a God that loves me, despite your mess, despite whether or not you believe in him, right? Jesus Christ came down, died for you and I, our sins. Because when you look around the world, you can see it. You see it. So the battery is also dead. But I just want to say, like, he came down and he died for you and I. And now is the time. You have an opportunity to turn to him if you're depressed, if you're continually angry, if you can't find peace, if you just feel disturbed inside. There's a way. There's a way out. Let me just change this real quick. I want to finish this before I end. There's a way out. And I just want to mention that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you might not think, of course, I know that we believe different things and all these things, right? So, but I want to share that there's a way out, and he died for you, because again, these things that we're arguing about, these things that cause people to do bad things, and someone to commit a crime, and all the things that we do to hate one another, all these things are the product of sin. When we were created, we were made perfect, right? Full of love, right? Joy, peace. There was no sorrow, no pain, no heartache, none of those things. But when sin was entered through deception from the devil, then it infected us. Like when a parasite comes or an infection gets into the body, it infects the host. That's what happened to us as people. That's why these things that we feel that are not good are not from God. It's the result of sin. So Jesus came to die for us, because again, the wages of sin, because we sin, that's why we die. So he came so we again can go back to the way it was in the beginning, through him, to have life again, eternal life. to correct the error. We made a mistake, and he came down to die for us so that you and I don't have to die for our sins anymore, that through him we can live. So when this body is gone, we can go with him where he is, and there will be a new heaven and a new earth. You know what I'm saying? And even while you're here, you can have peace, right? So like myself, you know, like no longer striving, you know, to, hey, let me just, I gotta do, like, you know, I gotta make these videos, I gotta do all these things. No longer striving, you know what I'm saying? No longer trying to build my own empire on this earth. I'm focused on something of eternal significance, spending time with my family, my wife, my daughters, and really getting deeper in that relationship with the Lord. And it's the most peaceful time in terms of internally. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to invite maybe one person and just to share that, because I can't do a live stream like this and don't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anyone will watch the replay because it's so long. But I just wanted to say that for those of you guys who are watching, and that I'm not trying to promote any sort of like hatred or you know, or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I must say, I'm way past that. Of course, you might not be where I'm at. You might not believe what I believe. But again, I'm a father, I'm a husband. I'm a believer, and of course I have my own journey, my own life, my own experiences that sort of inform my decision to do things the way that I do it. But I want to share that, man, because the world is you know what I'm saying, it can be an ugly place, and there's a lot of things right now that's not really looking pretty. And I just want to say there's hope, right? If you feel like there's only this life and that you're gonna die and that's it, there's hope. You know what I'm saying? If you have addictions right now or some type of depression, trust me, that can be broken off your life, and you can live a life without those things. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you feel, whatever burden is on your shoulder, you can live a life without those things on your shoulder. You can change your experience through connecting with your creator and my creator, the one creator, Jesus Christ. You know, so feel free to call out to that name, right? When you feel like there's nothing else, and you feel like you've tried long enough and you've been trying for many years without any results, try that before you give up. Try to call on the name of Jesus and ask him to help you. And I promise you, you'll see a change, because he is real. You know, just like Yasuke lived. Oh man, I wasn't planning to bring it back there, but yeah, just like Yasuke lived, he existed. Jesus Christ also existed, and there's a lot of historical documents about his existence, way more than Yasuke, way more. So again, he lived, and he's living even now. All right, so that's it for now, guys. Thanks for coming on. Until next time, I never imagined I would have been on for so long, but it's good coming back and saying hi to y'all. I don't know if I'm going to come back and do another video or not. Maybe I do have, let's not, I won't say it, but let's see. Until next time, guys, let's just see. I never read in the comments while I was talking. Someone said there's only the Bible and Josephus. There's actually more than Josephus' account. There are many manuscripts. So if you're talking about the Bible itself, the complete Bible. The comments are funny. You guys are funny. But until next time, love y'all, man. Peace. God bless. Bye for now. Take care.